want everybody from this moment on to recognize me as the scholar of boxing.
See, their morals, their code. It's a bad joke. You've dropped at the first sign of trouble. They're only as good as the world allows them to be. I'll show you. When the chips are down, these civilized people, they'll eat each other.
49 hours declaring it a riot.
5 to 50 be advised, County Police 1 advised they're trying to breach and get to the Capitol.
Publicists, when you talk to your publicists, you know the first thing they tell you? What? Stay away from religion, stay away from politics.
Okay.
You know why?
Why?
No matter what the you say, somebody passionately disagrees with you.
Absolutely.
No matter what religion, you believe in Allah, then you're saying that's not the right way. You believe in every Christianity, that's not it, because they're choosing something different. Your political party, the Democrat, Republican, the disagreement completely.
Yep.
So I stay away from it. When I get pulled into politics, I go,
Yeah.
and I have nothing to say. I'm
That's
just
the
looking.
same way we are. Well, no politics, none of
I'll
this.
with that. Like, I don't stay there because I'm still entertainment. If it's not music, then it's from a television, but it's still entertainment. So why would you turn someone off by saying that?
Right.
I want everybody to enjoy what I'm doing.
Right.
Not just a selective few amount of people. I focus on diversity because it's needed.
Right.
The boxing scholar is a lover, not a fighter, but he's also a fighter, so don't get any ideas. If he pats you on the back, you'll put it in your resume. His enemy. Have him listed as an emergency contact. The scholar has an inside joke with complete strangers. If he punched you in the face, you'd have to fight the urge not to thank him. Sharks have a week dedicated to him. He's the only man alive to is parallel park. A train is count to infinity twice. In Genesis, when God said, "Let there be light," the scholars said, "Say pretty please." He is the genius of all genius and master of all masters.
And that's the trick to life. You have to be wise enough to know when you were living in your dream. And you have to be humble enough to accept when you're in someone else's.
Yo, the Boxing Scholar's on.
What's good? What's good, Candy Cane?
Hey,
We did a
Scholar.
pop up. We done did a pop up on him. We didn't shock the world already. First of all,
Yeah.
Scholar being awake during the daytime. Everybody know the secret to my youth is vampire hours. You know, I like to be.
Right.
I like to sleep during the daytime in a coffin. The cat's out the bag. That's how I keep my melanin. You know, popping. You know, I don't use cocoa butter. I just sleep during the daytime. But yeah. So you've never. So we finna get a real life reaction from Candy Cane. You know, this finna be what it, like if it's a spit take, this would be a spit take. You know, she hadn't seen this clip before, and I'm curious of how many people like are gonna change. You know, this is just me being optimistic because you know, once somebody mindset on something, they're pretty much compromised at that point. They're not gonna change their opinion. So I'm just curious. I'm just curious how many people will change, how many people gonna double down. I'm just curious because I know what's gonna happen. You know. What white people always say, social experiment. I was doing a social experiment. It's a social experiment for me. I want to see how many people going to actually, because they claimed it wasn't about race and they was non-biased, blah blah blah, et cetera, et cetera. So I want to see how many people really gonna stand on that. I doubt
Now I'm
anybody.
curious. You definitely got me curious the way you talking. Like,
Because I'm not you a Libra, ain't you?
I am.
Oh, I already know where you stand on this. You're gonna see it from both sides then. You know, Libras like to see both sides.
Here you go.
But I can see both sides in the situation because, like, so we, in my opinion, the prosecution and the the defense team and the prosecution was on the same team. They was a dream team,
Mhm.
because it's like what? So they made an actual deal. I don't know if you're aware of this, Candy. They made an actual deal with the prosecutors that they were not gonna talk about uh like character stuff. So
Hmm.
like a gentleman's agreement. It's like you making I would be so pissed at my lawyer for making a gentleman's agreement with someone who didn't have my best interest. You get what I'm saying? Like
So
what?
wait a minute, Carmel. You saying Carmelo's attorney agreed to this?
Yeah, they agreed to it. So a lot of stuff, because a lot of people thought Charleston White was lying because Charleston White is a clown. And when Charleston White was talking about how these kids was bullies, and the dad had some information that was going to come out, and blah blah blah. This is the information that he was talking about, because everything Charleston White said was exposed here. It was true. Like they were
Mm.
bullies. They did have a checkered past and all the other stuff. But the flip side of that is Carmelo Anthony's past. So that's why I want to get into this. So let's without further ado, let's get into it. So here we go.
Defense attorneys went first, and they shared a disturbing history of violent behavior by Austin Metcalf. And it appears tomorrow is going to be no different. Our JD Miles tonight has a 75-page document that's going to be presented tomorrow, taking a deep look into Carmelo Anthony's past. It remains to be seen how his supporters will react tomorrow, but it was clear that they were pleased with what they heard in court today.
There were chants and cheers outside the Collin County Courthouse this evening when the hearing over whether Carmelo Anthony should get a new trial wrapped up its first day, a day when evidence was presented showing Austin Metcalf's disturbing record of fights, bullying, and racist behavior. Carmelo Anthony was dressed in a suit and tie for this morning's hearing, which began with the defense arguing that efforts by the trial judge and prosecutors to combat threats and deal with disruptions actually prevented Anthony from getting an open and fair trial. But bombshell testimony came this afternoon from Anthony's trial attorney, Mike Howard, about Austin Metcalf's background report that was never presented to the jury. CBS News Texas has also learned new details about Austin Metcalf's background. Metcalf and his brother Hunter were once caught spray painting graffiti, including KKK Kill All Blacks and Heil Hitler, along with the N-word, and were sentenced to 12 months of juvenile probation. Records reveal they reportedly told authorities, "We did some dumb stuff. We did some vandalism." There are several documented instances.
Okay, for commentary purposes, let's stop it there. Let's stop it there. Thoughts, reactions.
Why didn't we hear this during the trial? Like, how did y'all suppress this kind of information and then tell us it's not race related? I'm lost.
So salute to everybody on the panel.
Hold up, Marky.
Apparently,
Hold up, Marky. I'm gonna just say
ask
this.
the question. Go ahead.
No, hold on. Like, I'm streaming on her channel, so you gotta kind of watch the language. I'm just letting you know before you get crazy. I'm just letting you know. I know how you is. I know how you are. I know. Go ahead though.
Yeah. I know how you Island blacks are. That's all I just heard from this man. But anyway, apparently there was some type of no. Shout out to Boxing Scholar and shout out to you, Queen. Smash the like button, subscribe. And also come over to the Democracy Brief. I'm streaming from my own platform too. Apparently there was a gentleman's agreement between Carmelo Anthony's original defense team and the prosecution, which basically said, we agree. Yeah, okay. I don't even know what the defense necessarily agreed to, but they agreed not to bring up Austin Metcalf's history of racism and being a bully. And in exchange to they said they wanted to focus on the trial and the incident itself. But like, that is crazy to me. If my client's life is on the line, this is a young man that could be going to prison for the rest of his life. I'm pulling all the stock. I'm not doing gentlemen like this, and it goes back to what the father was saying, Boxing Scholar. He should have never got a white attorney. Straight like that. Should have never got that white attorney. And I'm not saying white attorneys can't represent black clients or they can't do good work, but I'm not taking the chance.
I have a question.
It's something. Go ahead, Queen. Go ahead.
No, just trying to gather as many details. Does that mean that the attorney relayed this information over to the parents, or did the attorney withheld that information from the parents? Like, I'm wondering, were they clued into all of this, or was some of this just done between the attorneys and the parents were not clued into this? Because I have a hard time understanding as a parent how to say a gentleman's agreement to not let this, like the full scope of evidence be included. How
I don't
especially
know.
when you're my legal representation, you can't do anything without running it past me first. Like, I don't understand that either. And then it's like, bro, they like in court, right? Because listen, we all to a certain degree, we all lawyers. You know, that's what we do. Defend our talking points online. We all Johnny Cochrans. We all many Cochrans, right? But they have witnesses that they call, you know, character witnesses. Character, like keyword, character. And they made a deal not to bring up this person's character. Like, you're in the deep South, right? You're in the deep South, Texas, right? All white, everything, and then you have a white attorney. It's like, why did you think that this would hurt them? And it goes back. Look, this is why you can't separate racism from these type of topics, right? And like Karmelo Anthony's dad, I don't know if y'all remember the live. I actually have it queued up when he was talking about watermelon felon, and this wasn't about race until they made it about race. And it's like, bro, your kids had disciplinary actions.
Wait a minute. Okay, Scholar, some just hit me. Didn't they show Carmelo with like fake guns trying to present him as some thug
Yeah,
too?
that's it.
How y'all bring that into this? But you're going to exclude this about the Metcalf kid. How does that even equate? You bringing in his character and his outside. What the?
Yeah, so
I mean, this boy was sold down the river. He never had a shot in that courtroom. Then they got I don't know if you want to talk about the judge now or if you're going to cue that up, Scott. But go ahead.
Oh, we could go. We could talk. I just pause for a little bit so we can get a reaction. Because I'm gonna be honest with you.
Did you hear about what the judge said?
Go ahead.
The judge who just got taken off the case by the appellate. My bad. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Cut out for a second.
Yeah,
You back
people
now.
always want to call me when I get on stream. The judge that presided over the case said that the jury got it right. Completely like that. Like, bro, that's the opposite of impartiality. You're not allowed to comment on the case on any past or present case that you have. So that speaks to his bias. That speaks to why they didn't let cameras in the courtroom. They didn't want the people to get the details or see what was going on.
Marky, and then you know what's crazy? What's crazy? The judge doing that and then releasing the footage of after the incident, because I just knew that they were not going to release it because they were so secretive about the process. But when they released it, I was like, wait a minute, what? Like, I think that, I mean, and like I said, most people are compromised anyway, but that footage that they released didn't prove that the jurors got it right, in my opinion.
Wait, what footage were you talking about? Am I lost? What just happened?
I think he's talking
They released
about
the actual footage of the
from the
stabbing.
track meet.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Yeah, it was grainy as hell. I thought it was going to be like HD footage that they, gave to like some experts to, process it and, do like enhance it and whatever. It was grainy as hell. You can't even see exactly what's going on. All you see is a bunch of people scatter. It looked to me like Karmelo was getting surrounded. That was just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? But you can't like draw no definitive conclusions on as to like who was doing what, or if Austin walked up to him, or if Karmelo was being aggressive or whatnot. You can't draw no conclusions. But like the fact that they would send a boy like this to prison for 30 years, and Texas is a stand your ground state. Okay, if somebody, my mother went to Texas Southern University. She told me that in the state of Texas, if somebody is threatening you and they take one step towards you, you don't have to wait for the second step. You can take their life.
Yeah, you don't have to. You're not required to flee. You're not what. Yeah, stand your ground. It's literally in the. She's absolutely 100% right. But you know what's interesting to me, Marky Dan. You know how you talked about the footage being grainy. Everybody talk about how Jim Crow is gone. Like I'm pretty sure there were jurors back then, and like they might have had a rare occasion where they got some video footage and it was in black and white, and the only color that mattered was the black.
Yeah,
Because
I mean, look, Rodney King. Those jurors had a literal video of these 4 officers beating this defenseless man after death, and they said, "Well, it didn't meet the statute, so I had to vote along the rules." This is
it's
why riots happen. This is why a riot. Listen, those people in Mississippi with all these black people they find hanging from trees, and now it looks like the sheriff is gonna cover up Nolan Wells' death. Don't be surprised if we get another Summer of Love like what we did with George Floyd.
I doubt it.
I don't doubt it.
I doubt it. I think the
Too much
people are
shit is
tired.
happening. The Civil Rights Act is getting gutted. You got motherfucking KKK judges now taking their hoods off.
I told you about the language, brother.
Oh, my bad. Wait, what did I say?
You said the 3 letters, and then you said MFer. But you good. Just
I
be
say
mindful.
okay. I apologize, Queen. My bad.
Okay,
But
so
you
let's
get
play.
my point.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get you. 100%. But let me play some more of this video because I want to see at the end of the video where you still keep your opinion, Marky Dan. What's good, RGM?
Salute to RGM.
Of Austin using racial slurs in school. And in 2023, Austin was accused of bullying a black student in class. In 2018, while still in elementary school, Austin and his brother were accused of bullying and assaulting a female, which led to his arrest. During an argument in 2024 with another female student, Austin allegedly knocked her to the ground and punched her in the stomach. He was also kicked out of a football game.
Yo, that is so crazy and look, when you said what you said, Marky Dan, about the having a white attorney. You're right. This is exactly why they look at and this is how you know white people are aware of racism, because they look at it and say, we have all this stuff against Metcalf, but the stuff that they're going to present against Karmelo Anthony, they're going to be like, we might not want to bring this up, character witness, because they understand that racism is alive and well inside of America. This is proof of that, because I feel like it was more evidence to prove like that first of all, he struck Carmelo Anthony first, right? He has a history of bullying. Like there was more, like if they would have brought the character stuff out, I felt like it would have damaged Carmelo a little bit, but it would have damaged Metcalf more and helped them prove their case. But because they had a white attorney who's aware of racism, knew where he was, he made a gentleman's agreement. That's so crazy to me. It's like me going out to the jungle and say, hey, Mr. Lion, could you not eat the gazelle today? You know, he's had a bad day. You know, the water's been dry. It's like, what? They don't have to agree to it. It's a gentleman's agreement. Because what ended up happening is they agreed privately and publicly released those photos of Carmelo holding a gun to paint public perception. So, you know, he was set, like Marky Dan said, he was set up for failure before the case was even started.
Then another part of that. Go ahead, Queen.
No, that was the video. Go ahead, bro.
Oh, my bad. No, I was just saying, then another part of that gentleman's agreement, the prosecution pulled a fast one. They, during the trial, when they were gearing up to put Carmelo Anthony on the stand, because in self-defense, or if you're making a defense case, you have to have your defendant take the stand so that you can give the jury your state of mind. The prosecution said to Carmelo's defense team, if he takes the stand, then the gentleman's agreement is over. But I'm sitting there wondering, like, what are you gaining from the gentleman's agreement?
It was a dumb
That
admission.
part is still confusing to me.
I don't see any benefit. Like Queen Sunkiss, I remember the last time y'all had this discussion about the Carmelo case. She was standing on 10 toes down that he got railroaded. She was pissed about that, and like I don't see any benefit for Carmelo on this at all. Like, how did this help him? The only thing it could have done was set him up for failure.
It's a shame, bro. It's a shame. And then we find out his defense team didn't even bring up the fact he had epilepsy during the trial. So you got this big 6 foot, 200 whatever pound white boy who has a history of being a Nazi, who has a history of bullying women, bullying black people, calling black people the N-word and whatnot, being just a menace to society, who puts his hands on you. You're a little 5'8", 160-pound kid, and you're telling me I'm not allowed to be in fear for my safety? Or excuse me, the standard of self-defense, I'm not allowed to feel like I'm at serious risk of bodily harm? I can't wait for this next trial. I can't wait because you're gonna see the raccoons, the Sambos like Brandon Tatum. You're gonna see that. I can't wait to watch them spin in the wind.
He already has his mouth full right now, bro.
With the Nolan Wells?
Yep. He already
Yeah.
got his mouth full. He already on his doing his thing with white people on that.
He's
That
calling
is,
those boys his friends. He just met them like 2 weeks ago.
bro, because the qualifier. What color are there? He hasn't met one white person that he dislikes. So
Bro,
of course,
I wish you had that clip of Uncle Ruckus during the trial. Guilty, guilty. That is guilty.
yeah. That's what you know how back in the day they used to do like the little angel and devil on the shoulder. They get both devils, and they're both Uncle Ruckus on each side. He guilty. He's guilty. I ain't know. Like yeah.
Hang that right now. I got the rope right here.
Hold up,
Brandon
Mark.
Tatum.
Hold up, Marky Dan. You're doing it again. You're doing it again.
I
Come
didn't
on,
cuss.
YN.
I
I
will
didn't
say
cuss.
that the Boondocks is way, way, way ahead of its time, and it's timeless. Even now to 2026. And when was the last episode? Like the 2010s or like
I don't know. I think
2008,
it might
something
have
like
been
that.
2015 or 2014, I think.
Yo, and they always be talking about how revolutionary the Simpsons is. Man, look, the
Mm-mm.
Simpsons
For
is
black
good.
people, it was the Boondocks,
Yeah,
and
it ain't got nothing
it
on the
stood the
Boondocks.
test of
They
time.
exposed Tyler Perry, R. Kelly. They exposed you remember the homies over H's? They
Yeah.
exposed the whole rap industry. They were just ahead of their time for sure.
Yeah, they were there. They were dope. They were dope. All right, let's get some more of this because I want to see Marky Dan. Marky Dan, I ain't listen. Everybody know I got anti-coon repel, so I don't get caught up in the raccooning. But at towards the end of this, I think I've realized I think I know why the defense team went the way they went, and I'll show you why. But let's get some more of this video.
I was about to beat the expletive out of those kids. At a previous track meet, when another student alerted Austin that someone not on their team, quote,
Hold on. Let me rewind that because we can't skip over that. He talked about beating other kids, so he's showed history of bullying. He was he don't discriminate. Equal rights, equal less for women.
History of violence.
History of violence towards males and females. Like we said, I feel so vindicated because I was telling people that, like, look at the father, like they always do this with us. The father went in the home. Look at the history. History matters,
Hello, LRGM.
But when you look at this case, they were like, well, the father they act like he was a stand-up guy, even though he created a broken home because he wasn't even in the home, right?
You know, that was a question that I asked a while ago on my channel was, is it worse to have a fatherless home or a home with a bad father, a drug addicted father, an alcoholic father, a domestic terrorist type father? Which one is worse? Which one is more damaging?
We actually
The
we
bad
asked that
father.
question on BVO, and I made it very clear. It's better to have no father. Like it's better. Like there's a difference between an asset and a liability. Something that adds to you, and then something that takes away from you or breaks you. You know what I'm saying? And those types of fathers, they create broken people. They create drug addicts. They create drunks. They create domestic abusers. All types of broken men and women. And now this young man got himself into a situation where he got his life took because he played with the right one on the right day. Scala?
My bad. Yeah. So, no, I agree. I agree with that, Candy and Marky Dan. It's better to have no father because they could they could do more damage. Like the damage of them not being there with their absence is minimal compared to the damage that they'll do if they lead them on the wrong path of, drugs and alcohol or whatever the case may be. Like, look, I just talked about this. So where I'm from, a small town in Texas, there was a family that grew up and they owned their house and their house was crappy though, kid. It was horrible living conditions, but they owned it. It was theirs,
Trap
right?
house.
Kinda. But the dad. No, because they didn't trap out of it, but it was awful. Like a country hick place, or like a hick house, like an outhouse type thing. Um, but it was theirs and they owned it. Dad was going to work in the oil fields making buku money, and now that I'm older, I'm like, what? Like, because they used to eat cereal with forks. I've
Oh
never.
wow.
That is insane. Now knowing what I know, Dad could have went and bought them some white teas. He could have been a functional drug addict, but he chose his drug 100%. So he would take his entire check and just go splurge it on drugs instead of saving 10, 20% and spending it on his kids. And his kids grew up getting made fun of, like they grew up smelly, like they were like they get up they grew up with a lot of trauma, and it was all due to their dad. And I just talked about this with my friend. It was the trickle down. They're really messed up now on drugs and all that stuff. If he wasn't there and mama would have just, and that's another thing, though, I feel like the woman, her whatever wasn't activated. The stuff that black women got, I don't know, put a word on it, but it wasn't activated because the dad was there. And because he was the leader and all that other stuff, it was just bad leadership, and it trickled down to everybody, and all of them are messed up.
So
Versus a single mom who the superpowers would have activated, and she would have had them kids, even if she had to go to Nate and say, Nate, I'm in the bind, Nate. Whatever the case may be, she would have provided for them by any
I,
means
I
necessary.
hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, but that just sounds like they had two loser ass parents. You
I
had
was
a
just
you had a
gonna
father.
ask that.
Yeah, you had a father who was not nothing. He was just a piece of DNA, and then you had a mother who didn't have the strength to take her kids and leave and go stay in a shelter and get her life back on track.
I
It just
have
sounds like
rarely
two loser
seen
ass
where you have
parents.
a what like most of the time you have like a parent who is an addicted one. There's usually one who's not addicted trying to hold the family together. I haven't really seen a lot of double addicted parents like that. I don't even know how to explain that. But like how do you know like where was her survival skills? And you said the kids were in a abysmal condition. What kind of condition was she in? Like did she smell?
That
Did she look rat tat tatted too?
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
that's
Oh, I'm sure.
called that's called codependency. That's
I'm sure, but
somebody
but but
she
but
feels
hold up,
like.
Mark it in. We
Good.
can't ignore. We can't ignore this. We can't ignore this. We live in a society, right? A society that is male centered, and we always talk about nuclear family and all the males being leaders. I felt like her superpower of being a single mom was never activated because she had somebody there, right? And because she had somebody there, and it wasn't like he was a bum as far as his life choices, but he was going to work. He just was smoking up the money, and it's like that trickled down to them because I mean. I don't know what other people's belief system is, but I mean, I believe that the man is the head, right? And he's the leader. That's what society is geared towards. Like it all, like, and if he's a horrible person, it's gonna trickle down to everybody. Now you can
I
say
feel like that would have been an excuse in like the 50s or the 40s or the 60s, but no, like I don't know when you came up like in the 90s, Scholar. Well, we're doing it like that for decades at that point. So by themselves without the man. So no, like I don't
that's what
got
I'm.
like
But you
no
missing what
excuse.
that's what I'm saying because they're so used to doing it by themselves. They don't want to do that, Marky Dan.
No, but
And
like you got certain women, Scholar. They can't be by themselves straight like that, and that's what I was just saying. It's a
He
codependency
is right
issue
about that.
where
There are some
even
people who do that for sure.
yeah, like even if it's a piece of a man, not even a whole human being, they'll take it rather than being by themselves and saying, "I okay, I'm a single mother. I don't want to be like that." So you just got some people like that. But we were
toenail,
getting off topic.
the toenail women. That's what I call them because a piece of a man, but he like a toenail. He like a toenail with fungus. But yeah, you're right. You're
Yeah,
right. Let's get back. Let's get back. Let's get back because
yeah.
It's
that's a good topic we'll talk about though.
it's hard for me. It is so hard for me to just hear that because then my biggest issue. I struggle with the whole. village thing. Because my first thought is, where were her parents? Where were her people? Like, why were they not there to help you? You ain't got no sisters, no aunties, no nobody. They saw you and your kids out here looking a mess and just left you with this man. Because I'd have had to grab my sister up. Like, what's going on here? Why you look worse than you would have alone with this man? What are you doing?
I mean, I and Skylar knows that I adopted my nephew. He was my first child. I adopted him when I was 21 years old because my sister, well, first she
Respect.
yeah, she
Respect.
had, you know what I'm saying, her brain firstly wasn't functioning like at a high capacity. She was when she was born, the nurses were just negligent, and my her mother had drug issues, and she was catatonic when she was having her. So she
Mm.
stayed in the birth canal for almost 2 hours, just having her brain choked off of oxygen. So she was special needs, and then she got a pill habit. So I took that responsibility and picked him up. But I'm not. I love her to death. I do what I can for her, take her to places and whatnot. But I'm not taking care of no big grown human being. And I don't know if that makes me like uncaring in that way. Cause you know what I'm saying? My mother asked me to make sure that she's always good, but I don't have it. I don't have that capacity to care for a big grown person like that, even for somebody who has special needs. Because she's really, even though she has like certain deficiencies, she's really smart. She knows how to manipulate people. She knows how to get assistance, federal assistance, and all that. So but I don't know. I don't know. Some people are just like you can't help them. Some people they are just gonna be that way until they die, and
Hmm.
that's gonna be that. And you just try to help the seed that they produce in any way you can.
And that's what I'm talking about. Sometimes you do have to throw the adults away to save the children, but yeah, that's a huge rabbit hole I can go down. I don't want to derail us from.
Salute, Sir Foul Player.
No, let me not salute Sir Power Play. Sir Power Play,
I mean, he annoying, but come on,
I hope your coffee tastes bad. I hope your coffee tastes bad.
oh man.
Those kids. At a previous track meet, when another student alerted Austin that someone not on their team, quote, behind our bench was talking wild, Austin reportedly replied, kill that MF. During the 2023-2024 school year, he received
Wow.
in-school suspension.
He over there. Listen, and Carmelo Anthony was not the first person. There was another person, like somebody. So he felt like somebody passed away and left him in charge of all the aggression. He was the school security. You know, not even he was a step above hall monitor, I guess. So at all the track meets, you know, he's talking about unaliving somebody for doing something to his school. Like that, so he's already showed a history of abuse, being territorial at these meets. That wasn't an isolated incident. Like I don't know why the lawyers. Well, I know why, but I just think it was a bad choice. I think
That lawyer. Go ahead, Scott. My bad. Go ahead.
I remember saying this one time, and then people thought I was being crazy, right? I said I feel like black people should go get black therapists, and they was like, "What?" And it's like, yes, they're gonna look at you like a number. You want somebody that's in charge of your health care, in charge of whatever, or the responsibility of your well being that could identify with you, because that always makes a difference. Like you remember when the dude from one of those prestige school, what was it, Harvard or something, was essaying the girl behind the trash can, and the judge talked about him like as if he was his legal defense. That's a young
Hmm.
boy. You just can't ruin his life, and you just can't do all that. It's because he's seen himself, which is a whole nother thing. Like, how you even a judge seeing yourself doing that? But he's seen the humanity in him because he could identify with him. And I think it's the same thing for black attorneys, black therapists. Like, you need to go get somebody that could identify with your struggle. They don't think black fatigue, because it's been hijacked, is a term where everybody's tired of black
You
people.
know, every once in a while, you might get an Atticus Finch. You know what I'm saying, from To Kill a Mockingbird. You might get that one who go up there and put on a show to try and save the black man's life. But generally, absolutely not. No way, no how. I'm not putting my life in the hands of a white man. And just speaking personally, I've seen my mother. She had a case where this young boy, he went to the east end of the island, which is where all the rich white people live. It's where all the big beach villas are, and he went over there to rob. and then the white occupant of the home came out and he beat him half to death. And my mother defended this boy on the stand, and when she was doing her closing arguments, she made like a comment. Which, by the way, I mean it's not a 1-to-1 comparison because it was basically an all black jury, and you're never gonna get that in the States. But she in her closing argument, Scholar and Candy, she
Mm-hmm.
basically made a comment essentially that, oh, and my client went through the back gate to get to his beach home. And that's like a big thing on the island where, you have white people come down here and they put a gate like around the beach, which is like, we look at that as like colonization. Like, because you can't restrict locals from going to the beach. That's against the law. So the whole jury looked at this white man like, and they they came back with a not guilty verdict. Like, I feel like that, like, you need somebody who's able to level with you and say like, this is our experience with these people, and be able to articulate that in such in like a powerful way that can pierce the jury and make them really question, should we send this young man to prison? I don't feel like a white attorney, let me not say a white attorney in general, but I don't feel like a decent amount of white attorneys can
No,
do
you
that.
had it right. You had it right. You had it right. The only
No, no,
white
no, no, because
attorney.
there's some great white litigants. I know a lot of them. I don't want to do that, but you get my point. Go ahead.
No, but even if they do it, Marky Dan, it's still like it's still driven by. It's not driven by justice. It's not driven by. I could see myself in this situation, or like it's just it's philosophical. It's not an actual, thing. And I think that that's the problem. I think you fight harder whenever you see your son or your loved one or whatever the case may be. And I mean, we see that with healthcare. That's a whole nother topic, right? Black women, like they give them worse healthcare, and the mortality rates is going up amongst them because they don't see themselves in them. They don't. This is not their mother, their aunt that they want to make it home. So they're lackadaisical in their care that they provide for them. So I stand on that. I 100% stand on what I said. But let's get some more of this video.
That's sad.
Twice. School disciplinary records from April 2022 to May 2024 reveal that Austin reportedly called a teacher the B word and used profanity. He told a school official that he couldn't control it and wasn't aware that it was coming out of his mouth. In 2024, on at least 5 occasions.
Bro, he couldn't control calling the teacher the B word.
When did he get Tourette's?
That is insane to me. I couldn't control it. I couldn't, no accountability whatsoever. It's so funny to me that all the people that were saying this wasn't about race when it absolutely was. How could you separate the racism from this? It being from the South, the daddy being racist himself, saying watermelon felon, and then this guy having a history of racist remarks and, identifying with the hoods and stuff like that. How do you separate the race? That's why I was be trying to tell people when they play with us or play in my face. It's everything's about race. You can't even fill out an application with that. So you mean to tell me if there was a crime committed or something, you're gonna describe them as a human being? You're gonna be like, oh, it was a human being that committed. No, you're gonna give a descriptor, and one of the descriptors you're gonna give is he was black or white or Mexican. Like, come on, bro. We got to stop this. To the people that say they don't see color, what do you do at a traffic light since you don't see color? Since you're so colorblind? This is like, that stuff is so insulting to me.
Austin saw a counselor regarding his anger and rage during a football game. In 2021, he got banned from attending basketball games for a season after yelling profanity at a player. Metcalf also got suspended after he and another student were talking about bringing a gun to school the following day. But the never-before-released details of Anthony's early years in Louisiana up to the day of his arrest for murder are also disturbing. On the day that Karmelo Anthony would fatally stab Austin Metcalf, prosecutors say he sent this text message at 1 a.m., which said, quote, "I'm low-key on the verge," and then emphasized it. Now, hold up. Now, we didn't say what we said about Metcalf. And I don't normally do this. Because I don't care. Because, I feel like white people, when they have an agenda that's driven, they never tell the other side. They just say, I'm non-biased. And the perspective they give is a biased perspective that's geared towards white people because they're the majority of people in America. And it's about a money thing. It's dog whistles involved in everything. But I want to get you guys' personal opinion on this, Candy and Marky Dan, because I want to know that this makes you like, does it make you like
you know, like be like, a little pause. I
No,
want to know how y'all feel about
and it's not enough information. Like, not even trying
it.
to be funny or not being
It's
biased,
more
but
though. It's more though.
oh, it's more to it. Okay, then
Yeah,
I then
yeah.
I can't give you an opinion until I hear more. Because right now
Okay.
I'm low key on the verge. Could be of what? Of anything. I'm low key on
Yeah.
the verge of cussing her out. I'm low key on the verge of
It-
putting my hand through the wall. I'm low key on the verge of taking a walk. Of what?
Or I'm low key on the verge of setting the track meet record. It can mean anything. Like,
Could mean
Mm,
so
anything.
you
Yeah.
got to provide more context if you're saying there's more, scholar. And
come
salute to
on.
Tony Review, the fascist in the chat. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would not have set the layup or the live up if I didn't if there was so
And give me the say, listen, look at you.
so here we go. Here we go.
Later in the morning on April 2nd, 2025, and hours before Anthony would kill Metcalf with a knife at a high school track meet, prosecutors say Anthony's girlfriend reported to a Centennial High School staff member that Anthony was engaging in stalking behavior, to include but not limited to driving by her home and refusing to allow her to end their relationship.
Oh no.
Also, in the 75-page filing.
Did you
Okay,
just say Carmelo? Did they just say that Carmelo was out here being a weirdo to a girl?
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's pretty bad. That's
Oh
pretty bad.
man.
But, but, I think I ain't gonna say I didn't go through that. Well, I went through the puppy love stage where I got my heart broke, and
No, bro.
I just hated the girl and left her alone.
You
But no,
listen.
I ain't never stalked nobody. I've never done that before in my life.
Driving past her house, not leaving
Yeah,
her alone.
yeah. If
A
I was
lot of
that
these
girl's
men,
father, I
even
would have did
grown
something
men
to her.
on to today, will hear a
Yeah,
woman say, "Leave me alone, go away, don't come back," and act like they don't know what those words mean.
man. Today you got the incels. They might do. They might do something to those women.
Do you think that Carmelo? Well, look. I think that behavior is definitely weird, right? You think there was some tongue in cheek involved too, because it's gonna get worse. That's why I'm asking. I'm asking before I show what
I
he
Tongue in
mean,
actually.
cheek.
it could be like
You know how people
because if
may
he's
say stuff that they're
feeling
not gonna do, Candy, just for like abuse, like abusive stuff. There's
No,
no way to dance around that.
as a woman, we can't ever take anything as tongue in cheek when it comes to domestic violence, abuse, stalking, any of that stuff. Because like you could look harmless today and I could be deceased and deleted tomorrow. It's too many cases of that happening. Like I don't
yeah.
want to paint it like, oh, everybody's gonna expire at the hands of some man. But when you have a threat, even if it's a low on the totem pole threat, you still need to see it for what it is.
Yeah, you need to take it
So,
very
so,
seriously.
so listen,
And
I've only seen this once, Candy. I don't think he made it to the girl. I think he was talking to his friend, because I guess this is me sitting on this is me being the armchair therapist, right? I think that he was going through whatever he was going through with his girl, and he was acting out because he couldn't control the situation, which is a sign of abuse. They like control, right? That's what it's all about. But
yep.
he started texting his friend other stuff that I think was just tongue in cheek, because he even later said in the text messages, like, "I'm just joking," but it was like it was
Uh,
super. It
Yeah,
was
people
super.
always add an LOL behind some stuff that they want to now walk back.
no,
Oh,
no,
scholar, I might be the
scholar.
wrong person for this part of the conversation. I
No,
ain't
no,
even
I
triggered.
scholar.
want your
There's no
I
just
want y'all's honest opinion.
no, there's no justifying that, and it's even more scary when you think about the fact that the guy was carrying around a knife. So what if he would have
Or,
like? And
hold up now,
I've seen that
hold up.
happen.
Y'all
What?
could have maybe do a better job than his actual defense team, right? So
Well,
this is how just
objection. You can't interrupt me in the middle of my
I'm about to give you a
argument,
different perspective, though. I'm gonna give you a
counselor
different
scholar.
perspective before you say it. I want to give you a
Go
different
ahead.
perspective. So you and I both know that there are some. Everybody knows that there is heinous people out there, right? But we do also have the social contract, and we are a land of laws, right? And just
Sure,
because somebody is a heinous person does not mean they can't be a victim, right?
sure.
So, like, somebody selling drugs, if they're unalive, they didn't bring the unaliving on themselves because they broke the law. So in this case, I don't think this is why I think his defense team didn't want this character stuff presented because they knew they were in the South, and you have to be damn near perfect as a black person, you
So
know. And
that's
you,
where the gentleman's agreement came in.
Yeah,
Then
it
it
makes
hit
sense
both of
now. I
their
didn't
yes,
know
paths.
that.
yes,
Right, it makes sense
but
now.
still, I think it's stupid because it's a gentleman's agreement with in the South. You know, we know the South how great they are to black people, right? And they're trying to beat you. They're at that time they're your enemy. They don't want to see you win. So why would you make any type of agreement? Just prepare, because you're supposed to prepare as a legal team for this type of stuff, right? You're supposed to prepare for them saying that, saying this. What
I
would you
mean,
say in that
listen.
situation?
The next time, if the appellate court approves for a retrial, you need to you just bring out all the stock and then let the jury decide what they're gonna do. Okay, these are two individuals who have documented histories of violence. Now, just focus. Now you go to the incident itself. This individual was warned not to touch this other individual, and he walked up on him and shoved him. Whatever was going on with the girlfriend in the background, while it is heinous, it is weird as hell. If that was my sister or my mother or my daughter, I would have handled Carmelo Anthony. I was not gonna let my daughter or my loved one live in fear like that from this little creep. But that being said, that is a separate issue, and Austin Metcalf clearly has a history of racism, violence, bullying, and he battered Carmelo Anthony. He put his hands on him first. And under the statute and law in the state of Texas, you have to be under fear of serious bodily harm. Okay, I'm gonna bring up the fact that my client has epilepsy. I'm gonna bring up the size difference. On top of the fact that this individual is a racist with a history of violence. So it ain't gonna be no gentleman's agreement if I were Carmelo Anthony's counsel for the next trial. We're gonna bring it all out and let the chips fall where they are gonna fall.
Exactly, which is what you're supposed to do as as a lawyer, because you can't control what the other side is going to do. Their job is to beat you. So yeah. So we agree on that. Like, I see why they did it, but it still doesn't make no sense to me because it's still a dumb move. Like, you're gonna let a black person go and just face justice in America's, like, how has that turned out? They have a history of that. Like, it's documented history. How does that turn out for black people in America, especially black men? Like, why wouldn't you? Okay, release whatever you got to release, but we're gonna release
Did
stuff
you
too.
hear about I don't know if you or Candy heard about the TikTok star in Florida who stabbed her black boyfriend in the heart, the one, and she was abusing him like it was
Yeah.
documented for years, and she
Courtney
got a plea
Clenny, was that
deal.
her name? Oh, was
What
it Toby Obumstelly and
Toby
Courtney
something, yeah,
and
and
Courtney
she
Clenny? They kept calling her an OnlyFans model. They didn't even acknowledge her, like,
Yes. Yes.
bruh, after she
disparagingly.
Yeah.
stabbed the dude,
Yeah.
she fled the state, and
Yeah.
then like now she got a plea deal of 6 years.
Yeah.
So
That's
I mean,
insane.
like, it's exactly what you said, Skylar. Like a black man, particularly in the South, you are shit out of luck. So I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not doing no gentleman's agreement with the prosecution, not at all,
Yeah,
whatsoever.
yeah. Let them do whatever they want to. Do your job. Your job is to defend your client. Your job is to make a case to the jurors, like, hey, this guy has a history of violence. He
Hmm.
has a history of racism. He approached him. He struck him first. Simple as that. And this ain't even, most situations are like hindsight where you're like reacting to it and, oh, they should have did that. Money more than quarterbacking. This is not one of those situations. This is a situation where, like, it's kind of clear what you should do if you want to win.
Hold on a second. Tony Reviews is like 5'2". If Austin Metcalf, big 6 foot 200 whatever pound ass, walked up and shoved Tony Reviews, I guarantee you Tony Reviews is not just gonna take that. And I guarantee you Tony Reviews probably walks with some tools on him, being as small as he is to defend himself. I don't even know what you're talking about, Tony.
Tony is from the same area that Sir Foul player is from, and they all have racist undertone opinions, bro. Like they're always on the opposite side of black people, and then, like, no, I'm not racist, but, like, yeah, but you kind of agree with everything the racists say. Like, you might want to look at that. But no, yeah. So I agree with you, Marky Dan. It's so when this
Hold on,
came out.
Tony, I remember you showed your camera on Phantom and you stood up and you were bragging about how short you are. I remember that, Tony. I remember that.
That's crazy. I've never heard a man brag about how short he was. That's just crazy word. But Candy, Candy, what's your opinion? What is your opinion? Because we just gave ours. So Marky Dan and my stance is different. It's the same but differently said, articulated, and basically we're saying that he did display creep behavior, and in the words of Marky Dan, the first time OJ would have did that to my sister, they'd have found the bloody gloves in my house. But that doesn't constitute, or justify him being. He can still be a victim of
Even in
bullying.
the case of imperfect victims, they still deserve justice. So I can, if we were putting him on trial for stalking that girl, then he needs to suffer for stalking that girl. But this was a case of self-defense. I feel like he still had the right to defend himself, and they should have put all the information out there. Like, let us hear it all. Don't try to paint any side as perfect, and then we find out later the truth. Because like everybody had dirty hands here.
But that's the thing, Candy. They made a gentleman's agreement with him, and the prosecution started releasing photos of him holding the gun to paint public perception. There's not any point in anybody's critique of even if they're for Karmelo Anthony, where they painted him as an angel, just because they were releasing photos, just because black people are guilty of being black before anything.
Well, what I caught from that was they wanted to make sure that the public perception, black equals thug. And as you can look at Carmelo Anthony, that's not what we know what thugs are, right? That was a little lame boy. That was one of them anime watching. You know what I'm
Facts.
saying? This is not a banger right here. I don't know what y'all saw. Black is not synonymous with YN. That is not a YN. He might be young, he might be Negro, but that's not a YN.
Hey, I don't know if I told you this. I'm taking YN out of my vocabulary. That's a way of giving white people the pass of saying the N word without saying it. Because I heard a white person say that, and I was like, yeah, I'm not saying that anymore.
Mm.
But I get you. All right, let's play some more. Because, like I said, I ain't gonna lie. For Carmelo Anthony, I was just like, this is crazy, man. Like,
And I did want to ask you,
How long is this video, Scholar?
it's not. It's a little bit more left. It's not that long.
are we opening the
I got
panel?
about like another 15 minutes before I gotta go somewhere.
Oh yeah, it'll be done before 15 minutes.
Are we opening the panel? I did want to ask that because I didn't drop the link on my side. If anybody
If you
wants to.
if you want to, we could drop
Well,
the
I
link.
dropped the link because Tony asked for it,
No,
So
no. We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
okay, well there you
No.
go, Tony. I
Yeah,
thought,
we're
but
not
go
doing
ahead.
that.
Okay, go
We're
ahead.
not doing that. We're not letting non-black people up here, to talk about this issue. We done already did that, man. We know y'all don't like us. We're not doing that. The closest we'll get to that is letting Coon VO up here. We'll let Coon VO up here. Like, I'll take it from black people. I'm not gonna take it from non-blacks because I already know what y'all gonna say. Carmelo was a thug. This is not about race. Why are we making it about race? Like, tell that to the dad that did a 3-hour live. A 3-hour live.
I heard Carmelo's the first felon in his family. That must be an accomplishment.
Yeah, I'm gonna play that after this. By the time you get up out of here, mark it down. I'm gonna play that clip and react to it, and then we'll go ahead and drop the link. But yeah, we'll definitely open it up because we only got a little bit left of this. So let's go.
Prosecutors say Anthony had previously been accused of stealing his girlfriend's phone, and in October 2024 wrote a to-do list for his girlfriend about how to deal with, quote, weirdos, which included the line, say some slick like my boyfriend kill people. There are also text messages where he admits on at least 2 occasions to punching girls in the face. Prosecutors also found text messages from 2021.
I think these young kids, black and white, are giving new meaning to don't mess with Texas. All the women get out of Texas right now. Hide the kids, hide the wife. Like, what is going on here?
Golly.
Between Anthony and another
Oh, what was that? Hold on.
Student about robbing someone of $300. There were also text messages where Anthony talks about a fight and punching someone so hard he had to stop fighting. In 2023, prosecutors say Anthony told a friend he was going to vandalize someone's house in Austin, saying, quote, I just feel like it. I got a grudge. In 2021, Anthony told a friend he had been suspended from school for 3 days for fighting, saying, quote, they said next time I do some, I get recommended for expulsion. In a text conversation.
Now, that was the prosecution going back to his text messages from 2023 and saying like, why did the fight make it there? Like a regular fight of him getting suspended.
Well, it's they're bringing up his history, a history of violence.
Both
Yeah,
of
but
them were
History of
violent.
action.
yes. So, but he said he got into a fight and he got suspended, and I don't feel like that was a like. If you look at the Metcalf stuff, there was clear indications of bullying. Like they used specific language, like he was bullying, like he was the aggressor. He like this is just a regular like mutual combat fight potentially, right? I don't understand why
No, scholar.
the
They
defense
said
team would get scared.
you
They
missing the
say he
part where they
stole. They
said if you
said he
get in
stole on
trouble
some girls,
again,
Scholar. They say
if
he
you get in
stole on
trouble
two
again, you
girls.
getting expelled. You missed that part. That means because I got in fights when I was in middle school and grammar school and all that stuff. I never got to the point where it's like they were threatening to kick me out of school. That means you're a problem child.
No, but they have zero tolerance now. They don't be tolerating fights now. It's cool.
In public school?
Yeah,
I don't
they don't be.
believe that.
I'm telling you, some places got zero tolerance for it.
I
With a friend in 2023, prosecutors have messages from Anthony where he wrote, "I'm a shoot the school up tomorrow with my blick," but later sends messages saying, "I would never actually do that."
That's what I meant by tongue in cheek.
Yeah, but this just gives the impression of like a dumb, like 16, 17-year-old kid. Like a really, 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 really dumb 16 or 17-year-old kid.
I can't
Because that's
excuse
not something to joke about.
I can't excuse the threats of violence specifically towards women. What was going on with Carmelo that was on his mind though? And then the controlling nature that he was towards the girlfriend, I can see why she got away from him. Of course she should have. She did the right thing. So I mean, unfortunately, Scholar, that is going to be a point that I am going to stick a pin in. Stick a pin in on that. As a woman, as a black woman, as somebody that he would have been targeting if I was a girl in school too. I'm putting a pin in that one.
Man, he would have stole on you. It's a
Now that
shame.
all right.
Nah, Kenny's one of
And
my
it's a shame,
top
Scott,
shooters.
because I get the I understand the gentleman's agreement more now because you look at George Floyd. George Floyd got murdered. A man kneeled on his
Unalive,
neck for almost 10
unalive,
minutes.
unalive, unalive.
Excuse me, unalived. Man kneeled on his neck for 10 minutes. And then what did we hear about after all of that? This is a terrible human being. You see, this is who black people advocate for. He's a felon. He robbed a pregnant lady, which is all horrible. But that don't excuse what happened to him. So I get it. They would have painted him up and down as the creep he probably was.
But they do that anyway. It wouldn't have been no different. That's why I don't understand what the fear tactic was. They're gonna do that anyway. You remember Trayvon Martin?
Yep.
They painted him as the bad person and George Zimmerman as the hero. I just seen Megyn Kelly report on these same text messages. And see, this is why we lose. I'm gonna just be honest with you as black people. That's why we lose, Candy Cane and Marky Dan. Because we have a real moral compass and we will call out wrongdoing. No matter what the skin tone is, they will ignore it. They look at it as a victory for them. So Megyn Kelly was up there talking about the text messages released, and she only talked about Carmelo Anthony and painted him out as a villain. But it's like, but you already painted him as a villain. Why are you doing an update to an already established villain in your book? Like, she was just like, Megyn Kelly was like, George Zimmerman wasn't doing, excuse me, George Zimmerman. Might as well be George Zimmerman. But she was like, that Metcalf wasn't doing anything but minding his business and he was unalived. And you're like, you couldn't possibly believe this. That man definitely put himself in harm's way. He approached him. He has a history of violence. The text messages proved it. Like, if anything, Megyn Kelly should have just shut up, but she's so used to that Fox News spinning the narrative type of stuff. So that's why she had her Fox News guns loaded and ready to, shoot this narrative out.
I mean, I hear what you're saying, but even in the example you're showing, it's showing both sides of it. Both sides of these two boys had a very checkered, very sketchy past, and I'm glad to have a much more fuller picture now. I mean, it doesn't help me or him or anybody right now, but at least I'm this is some relevant information to me.
Because you have a, that's what I'm trying to say, Kenny, because you have a moral compass, and you're gonna really judge it down the middle. They will never do that. Black person is guilty until proven innocent, and at the point that he's proven innocent, he's still gonna be guilty, and that's how that goes, right? Like they still talk stuff about Trayvon Martin, right? Try to paint him out as a thug, and he was around the same age as Carmelo Anthony. He didn't have this type of checker pass, no text messages or anything. His parents were split up, but they were still co-parenting. He have image wise, he had a loving father, blah blah blah, et cetera, et cetera. And it's just like still they still paint him out as a villain, and it's because white people, they understand what these dog whistles, they understand what this represents. This guy represents the face of white supremacy. He represents a victory for them, and he's not shy about it. He's talking about doing marches. He look at the networks that he's going on. Look at the stuff that he's saying. He talks about the problem in the black community. Like, wait a minute, what about the problem in the? I just had this conversation with Pittsburgh T. Like, white people are so crazy to me because they will talk about the nuclear family. Meanwhile, the party that's spouting this nuclear family stuff is leading in divorces, keep creating broken homes, but never wants to address it. The number one people that go to jail for the PDF crimes, but never address it. Meanwhile, wagging their finger and telling black people what they need to do and what they need to be. Like, that's insane to me.
A 2024 text thread, prosecutors say Anthony admitted to carrying a firearm, telling a friend before a party that he would have the gun in my pocket. There are other message threads where Anthony also mentions carrying a gun. After numerous suspensions for fighting while attending school in Louisiana, there are messages between Anthony and his girlfriend after he moved to Frisco. In one message thread, she suggests he should sit for a while, and he replied, "Yeah, and punch people, maybe run sometimes. I have to. It's like a priority for me. I like punching people. When I get mad."
That's what I mean by tongue in cheek.
Yeah, that sounds like a joke.
No, that sounds like a person that's trying to prove that he's tough. Yeah, I like to punch people. You know, when my metabolism kick in, I just get so angry, man. And then just like, he sounds like you said, Kenny, anime watching, think NBA YoungBoy could beat up everybody in the world, even kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the problem is he was acting on it. Like it's one thing to just be
That's
huffing
true.
and puffing
That is
with your
also true.
chest out, but the second part to all of this is he was actually doing some of it.
Isn't it alleged? Did they ever confirm it?
No, they just said he was in fights. Rewind it.
Yeah, didn't they say?
I'm not talking
didn't they
about
say
I'm
he-
talking about the abuse to the girl. Like, how do they know? They
Yeah,
just got texted.
didn't they say he punched two girls? Didn't they say that was confirmed and documented?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
I thought that's what I heard.
I heard that he said it. I don't know if he actually did it. I can't tell you that. I'm like, there's a lot of information coming at once. I'm trying to absorb.
That's a good point that they just made. They said in 2003. I didn't even think about that he was 15 years old. Shit, 14, right? Because he's 17 now, 26. So he was even younger and dumber then, in my opinion.
Probably.
Hey,
That frontal
Selena,
lobe don't develop till what, 25?
I mean, we have laws in place that account for culpable state of a juvenile or minor and stuff like that. So, going by the law, he's stupid and young and can't make decisions for himself. But what's good, sister? What's your opinion on this? Have you changed it? Are you still writing?
I'm trying to be. I've always been balanced with with my opinion. And most, I would say, from the Black community, I would get kind of like, rebuked in a lot of different ways because I still, heart still goes out to the family that lost their son, even though he was reported being a bully and whatever. I still feel like nobody's life should be taken, but at the same time, I do understand systematic racism and how in the court system they're likely, especially with Black boys, likely to throw them in jail and throw away the key, that kind of thing. So I do understand that. But I also, with me working in the school system, I'm taking a break right now, but I'm going back in January. I have dealt with all types of kids, and what I will say about, because I work in a school district that has I would say majority African American young men and young women, and these kids, this generation, they're mad disrespectful. And I work in the school system where I'm in the suburbs, so there's like suburb kids coming to school trying to act like thugs, trying to do the most, and they are so disrespectful to the teachers. They're disrespectful to the whole staff. They have a sense of entitlement. They come off as if they're just angry with everything and everybody. I mean, you can't even be respectful and talk to them like they got sense, and then they get an attitude and start flipping out at the mouth. I'm a millennial, so back when I was going to school, if we would even think about getting an attitude or doing anything in class and they threaten to say that they're going to call our parents, like, we would get it straight. Like, and some of us wouldn't even try it because we understood the authority and the respect that we had, that adults had to have. They were in the administration, our teachers and things, our principal, we all had to, respect them. So I don't know. This generation is really different to me. I really don't like a lot of them, and it kind of made me second guess me still furthering my educational career, because it is very stressful. Not only are, as teachers, we're teaching for a standardized, test that these kids have to take. We're not teaching for them to learn. We're teaching for them to pass a test. And then on top of that, we got to deal with so much discipline that we don't even have time to teach children, because of the discipline, the lack of discipline these kids have. And they come from homes. Some of them come from good homes, some of them don't, but they still come with that same type of attitude. Like, I'm going to do what I want to do. Forget you, forget authority, forget anything. And so when I see this young man, I see, of course, at 16, 15, we're always, very immature for the most part. He probably comes from a home where they probably have given him everything that he's wanted, and the same with the other family. And these kids, they just don't know how to have conflict resolution. They don't know how to walk away. They so combative. And this is for all. This is not just for Black. This is for white. This is for all kids in this generation. They got some issues. A lot of them have mental issues because they are stuck on that iPad and on that laptop and on TV. They don't even, in these games that they play, they're just delusional, and they think the world owes them something. So, I mean, I know I got veered away a little bit from the Carmelo Anthony situation, but it all goes back to the generation that we are dealing with. These kids are really disturbed.
I
No.
agree. I agree I agree. But I will say this. When this first happened, um, I guess Black people can't help but to see both sides. That's why I say this. Is why we gonna always lose, right? Because we do have a real moral compass. That's kind of what the civil rights movement was about. Treat us civilly. You know what I mean? We people, we believe, we God fearing people. We go to church. Treat us civil. And we take that approach and apply it to everything. Because with George Zimmerman, they didn't care about his character. They didn't care that he was abusive to his wife. They didn't care about anything, because they understand. They understand symbolism. They understand propaganda. They understand what this stuff means for them. It means that you can still be white and be privileged in America, and they understand all that, so they don't care about anything else. But us, we always try to see both sides. We try to see it down the middle,
Do
like
you
we
think we try to, or do you think that we've been programmed that way? Because
program.
you have to keep in mind, as minorities, we have never had the luxury of only seeing the world from our own point of view. We've always had to look at it from all sides, because that's what we're being like judged from. I know I'm not getting this out the way that I want to, but there's a difference when you are the majority. You can see it from your lens. You can, like, think about how even in standardized testing, the world is set up for the majority view. Like, we are considered subsets. So we've always had to look at it from from a wider lens than just a narrow-minded space. That's that's programming. That's by design. It's from birth.
I feel what you're saying, sis. At this, I mean, I don't know. That's just a great point. You and the sis who you and the sister who's a teacher. Y'all make great points, and I kind of feel like hearing this information, even if like these two young men hadn't met that day, at some point in the future, something would have happened concerning Carmelo Anthony, where he might have wound himself up in a different type of incident involving the law. Same thing with Austin Metcalf. When you hear the history of violence against women for both of them, when you hear the history of bullying and just the levels of disrespect, there's no doubt about that. And like hearing this new information, it gives me a new perspective on both young men. I still stand by the fact that I don't believe he should have been convicted of murder. Under Texas's statute for manslaughter, yes, he could have probably been convicted of that, because all you need is I don't think you even well, I don't even remember what exactly the standard is, but it's like you had to act recklessly that led to a person's death. It doesn't matter if it was even in a
Negligence.
self-defense type of.
Negligence.
Well, yeah, it could. I gotta find it, but
It's criminal
I
negligence.
still don't. I gotta find this scholar. I remember they were talking about it on court TV, and I can't think of it off the top of my head. You might be right, but I still feel that Austin, just looking through the lens of a lawyer, and looking through it through the lenses of a defense team, Austin Metcalf was physically bigger than this young man. This young man, Carmelo Anthony, had epilepsy. Carmelo Anthony was by himself. He was essentially surrounded by a bunch of football players and track athletes who were being aggressive and telling him to get the F out of here. And this young man was warned not to touch him. I just feel like there's a clear self-defense case, but hearing this new stuff, I'm not gonna lie to you, Scholar. I have my level of sympathy is it's kinda lessened. I still feel like it's messed
Wow.
up the fact that, I mean, calm yourself. I still feel like it's messed up the fact that George Zimmerman can do the exact same thing and get off. What's the guy named Rick Chow in South Carolina could follow a young black man like 3 blocks and then shoot him in the back and get off. You had an incident in Florida where some guy in a movie theater was just throwing popcorn and an off-duty police officer shot him dead and he got off. I still think that the system is not fair. I still don't think that the young man should have been convicted of murder. But at the same time, this dude was an effing creep. He just
Mark it in.
was.
Mark it in. Mark it
He
in.
was
We
a
have a
creep.
hold on. We have a creep in the White House. Mark it in. And this is not me doing
And hold on, Scott. I don't care, but I don't defend the creep in the White House.
but that's what I'm
Nobody
saying.
should.
Character never
Nobody
marries
should feel sympathy for those
But
people.
hold on. Character never matters for them. It only matters for us. So we're playing a game where we're losing. Candy posed the question that she posed a while ago,
Puerto Rico.
and I think it should be a defensive mechanism that, during Jim Crow, we would get convicted of crimes that we did not commit and judged by an all right jury who already had their mind made up. You would think as a defensive mechanism, we would start to look at stuff the way they do, because we assimilated to capitalism pretty smoothly, right? Like black people now think like white people in terms of everything has a price, everything must go, capitalism amongst all. So we assimilated to that, but we didn't assimilate to looking at them how they look at us. That's insane to me.
I hear what you're saying. Absolutely. I hear what you're saying. But still, I'm just letting it be known. I don't have a, like, for guys that and even if he's a young man, for guys that have that type of tendency to steal off on women, to stalk women, to talk about that he might do something to this young lady and she wasn't fair for her own safety. I just have like a certain level of like
morals, and
Yeah,
that's
I know I
good.
have my
But
yeah,
that's
it's
good,
morals, but
Marky.
at the same time, it's like my level of caring for that human being. Like I looked at him like he was like he could have been one of my friends when I was growing up.
he still
I
could
don't
have.
look at him like that anymore.
You don't know what your friends is doing in they private. We just know because of the text messages.
I mean, I think I could safely say no, because I knew a couple of dudes who were like that, and I made sure that they
But
were not in my
but
circle.
you never know because they wouldn't expose it, right? Unless they just couldn't control themselves. And there's a possibility that that's a friend that you have that's doing stuff like this, but you
I
just
mean,
don't
but
know.
but you're my friend though, Scholar. I think I could say with a certain level of certainty that there's certain things I cannot ascribe to you at all whatsoever.
Yeah.
He's saying he ain't got no degenerate friends. I know my friend's character.
There you
Yeah,
go.
I get it. I get it. But what I'm saying is this, Marky Dan, you're right. And listen, I'm not saying you're wrong. I agree with what y'all are doing and y'all calling out bad behavior. That needs to be a thing. But we're always told to be accountable for the worst of ours. Meanwhile, they're never accountable for theirs. And if we keep playing that game with them setting the rules and them type of rules, we're gonna always lose. That's all I'm saying, right?
I,
Like you.
I have said from the very beginning, I felt like because a life was lost, Carmelo should have had some punishment, right? That's been my
Yes.
stance from the beginning. I never felt like he should get off completely scot free. This was never black man takes down whitey for me. I didn't even like that people were trying to use these boys in their altercation as some sort of pseudo fight. Like it was like they looked at these boys like they would look at playing Mortal Kombat or some crap like that.
Right.
I
I
didn't like
agree.
how they used them as stand-ins. But I will say, it's to me, I think number one, he shouldn't have had a knife. And the question was deadly force necessary? I don't know that I would say deadly force was necessary, which is why I said he should have been punished. As somebody who is a CCL carrier and has gone through like training to understand when you can use deadly force and when you probably shouldn't, with that sort of background and mindset, I'm going to say I do feel like there was some punishment necessary. 30 years, I don't know. I don't see 30 years here, but both of these boys sound like they were kind of ticking time bombs, and
Exactly.
that's the problem.
So
And,
so
and
I
I,
know.
I'm looking at one second. I'm looking at the manslaughter charge now. If the jury did not convict him of murder, they had the option to convict him of manslaughter. And manslaughter, the standard for that in Texas is
To the
if they found that he lacked the purposeful intent to murder, but acted recklessly by bringing out and using a deadly weapon. So
yeah.
I think that would have been fair. That probably would have been like a 5-year sentence. I don't agree with him getting 3 decades of his life taken away. I
So
don't agree
And
with that
please
personally.
allow me to say this, and peace to the whole panel. I
Peace and
really want
blessings.
to peace. I really want to address the elephant in the room, which is why, as African Americans, are we continuing to choose to stay in a country that is admittedly unfair to us?
Is there a country out there that would be more
I'm about
fair
to say,
that you know of?
yeah. Who like
Yeah,
the
let me
whole
answer
Because
you.
world
even on
Oh,
the
doesn't
here
like.
we go.
continent,
Here,
Let me
here come
no,
Marcus
I'm not even
Garvey.
trying to be funny. I'm not
yeah,
even trying to
let
be
me
funny,
answer
but
you. Let me answer you. Let me answer you.
before you go,
All
I
right,
am
go
going to
ahead.
let you answer, but let me just finish the thought. Even on the continent of Africa right now, you have the Chinese in charge. You have white people in South Africa in charge. So where is a safe place where black people will be treated fairly? Please tell me.
Yeah, and actually, I was going to address that. If you compare African Americans in the U.S. to African Americans living in Ghana or African Americans living in South Africa or Kenya or Ethiopia or Togo, etc., African Americans, the average African American living in Africa has a higher standard of living than the average African American living in the U.S. The average African American living in the Caribbean has a higher standard of living than the average African American living in the U.S. And I land my plane with this. Right now, y'all know, well, some of y'all might know, I live in the Caribbean. I got real estate in
Where you
independent
live?
Caribbean. Well, that's what I was about to tell you, brother.
Oh,
I
my bad.
have
Go
real
ahead.
estate. I have real estate in independent Caribbean nations such as the Bahamas, Barbados, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and also in U.S. territories such as St. Croix and in Puerto Rico.
You on St.
This,
Croix?
yeah, for sure,
Oh yeah. Okay, I'm on St. Croix too. I'm born and bred here.
All right. So That's what I was literally about to address. We're not dealing with the school to prison pipeline in the Caribbean or in Africa. We're not dealing. There's no equivalent to Nolan Wells in the Caribbean or in Africa. There's no equivalent to George Floyd in the Caribbean or in Africa. There's no medical apartheid that we are experiencing. And I say this in closing, really, because I feel like I'm being very long-winded. When we as African Americans take our U.S. dollars to the Caribbean, Southeast Asia, and Africa, we are essentially increasing our standard of living and becoming a model minority comparable to Asians in the U.S. So yeah, we have
Okay,
options.
okay. Well, let me slow you down for a second then, because if that's the case, then why did 300 girls, children, get taken by tribes? Like you're saying, it's better, but better for whom? Because I
For
have a
African
double take.
Americans, it's better for African Americans. Those 300, respectfully, they were not African Americans. I'm just speaking about us right now.
So you think, as an African American, I'm going to be treated better in Africa than the people that live there,
I
and
don't have to
on the
think.
continent?
I don't have to think. I know. We have a higher status because we're coming with that U.S. dollar. That's a fact.
You know that they're killing us over there too, though, right? Like
Not
they're,
as much, not as much in the U.S. Matter of fact, I
so
can't
because
name. Well, go
I
ahead.
can
Make
tell
your
you
point.
a story that I just, in fact, not even a whole 2 years ago, was listening to, of a woman took her behind over there on some. I'm gonna buy property. I'm gonna build this space in Africa. Ran into some man that
Yeah,
she
it was
ended
in
up
Kenya.
dating, and that
Yeah.
and what happened? He ended up taking her out and taking her land.
So, Candy, let me
So
ask you a question. Is it more African Americans being killed in the U.S. or in Africa?
I don't keep up with their stats, so I cannot accurately answer that. I
Well, I
believe
can
it's
tell you, I can tell you emphatically, it's more African Americans literally being killed in the U.S. And to be honest, I'm not even trying to convince you at all. But what I realize is African Americans will continuously choose to stay in the U.S. where they are subjugated, where they are the bottom caste. They will continue to complain about it, but they won't leave. The U.S. is the equivalent to a man that has I'm gonna say the word great members of your family, kidnap members of your family, giving your money to other women, other men, let foreigners sleep in the master bedroom in your house while you sleep on the floor in the backyard outside. And for some reason, the African American, like a battered spouse, says, "But I still love you. I'm gonna stay with you. I'm still loyal to you." I don't know why.
Well, let me say this. Let me say this. I just seen a person the other day that was talking about traveling. And when you first start to travel to other countries, you always see how much better they are than your country, right? But then you ask the people who has actually lived there for years and you realize it's no different. There's going to be politics. Black is universally bad. You could say the N word in virtually every country. There's a form of saying the N word. They have colorism within their own race. Like, bro, there's no safe haven other than Africa. But black people don't even want to associate with Africa and say that they're African. But even Africa got its problems with that type of stuff. They're going through like they look at people like Elon Musk as their savior and stuff. They don't even want to be brutal to those people, and those people have showed that they don't care about them. As far as what you call it. Help me out, Marky Dan. Well, I'm having a brain for it.
Say that again. What you said?
Southern Africa. What is the stuff that what's their version of Jim Crow again? Having a brain for it.
Apartheid.
Apartheid. Thank you. But even with apartheid, it's created a lot of them that have Stockholm syndrome. But I wanted to show y'all this before I show the rest of the text messages. Let me show y'all this. So this is what I mean. This is what I mean when I see it in the reverse, right? So check this out. So there was a stabbing that's not going to make news because it's indefensible, and they already had like the jury was really fast and specific on this one. Thank God there was a camera. Thank God we're in a surveillance country, because they would have picked up on this and just rode with this person being innocent. But check this out.
No charges will be filed in the deadly stabbing of a Syracuse teenager last month. Tonight, we are seeing the video that apparently helped the grand jury come to that decision, according to the DA. News Channel 9's Victoria Kellogg hears from both the district attorney and the victim's mother, who sees those final moments very differently.
I am angry and I'm thinking of
Oh,
revenge at
yeah, I
this
know this
time.
broad.
The mother of 17-year-old Kevin Kuzo reacting after learning the 18-year-old who fatally stabbed her son will not face any charges. District Attorney Bill Fitzpatrick saying a grand jury found 18-year-old Israel Pam acted in self-defense.
It is not justice because of the fact is they're trying to say that it's a self-defense matter. When Israel had stabbed my son did not have the gun in his hand at that point in time.
And these are some individuals.
Tuesday morning, the DA walking us through the same surveillance video shown to the grand jury, showing Kuzo heading towards Pam, and the two begin to fight. Video shows Kuzo dropping the gun twice.
Another white boy being
Wait. So you walked up on him with a gun in your hand
and
and you start fighting?
try to pistol whip him.
Oh man, you
Yes.
stupid. That was
Yep.
dumb.
And messed around and found out. So here we go.
Then Pam pulls a knife. After the stabbing, Pam calls 911 on himself, telling police he had just stabbed someone.
When is this going to stop? This is about as senseless and stupid an incident as you can have that's tragically resulted in the loss of life.
The argument that sparked this violence goes back to last summer's deadly shooting at the Onondaga Park pool. Some believed Pam was somehow involved in that shooting. DA Fitzpatrick says evidence says otherwise.
There's no indication that we have that Mr. Pam had any involvement in that case, had any knowledge of that case, nor do we have any indication that he was part of any gang that may have been involved in that incident.
While the grand jurors saw the events leading up to the stabbing, they did not see the whole video. And this is where the video stops, before the stabbing. Kuzo's mom says that's where the story changes and her reasoning to continue to fight.
Yes, the video that the grand jury has seen is a self-defense, but the video that they should have seen of my son getting stabbed in the neck without a weapon, that is cold-blood murder.
Believing that the missing graphic video should go before a grand jury again, saying she'll keep pushing until it does. At Washington Square Park, Victoria Kellogg, News Channel 9.
Man, that broad is slow. She's slow. You can't incite a situation and then get mad when your son get the consequences.
Yo, that's the same thing with Karmelo Anthony. He approached the person. So this is why I disagree with you, Kenny. When you said earlier you felt like there should have been some type of repercussions, only because we've seen the complete opposite and nobody bat an eye. Like I keep going to George Zimmerman, right? Nobody bats an eye. Like nobody was like, well, no people that defended George Zimmerman or made him a millionaire said, well, he should get something. They wanted him to be completely free of any responsibility. Why would we do anything different for a young kid? You know what I mean? A young black kid. I'm just saying, like we never gonna win until we start thinking.
But see, I thought Zimmerman should have, I'm not one of them people who would have defended Zimmerman. I got equal rights and equal lefts to go around. Like that, and I hear what you're saying. That's part of black people's problems is we're gonna see like the duality, the balance. We're gonna look at it from both sides and see the wrongs where they're ignoring it. I mean, even in this case, like this lady's talking about like her son and self-defense and at this point he didn't have a weapon. You got to be one hell of a dummy to bring a gun to a knife fight and lose.
But I'm gonna ask y'all, do y'all ever in your estimation think white people will ever treat you fairly?
I
No.
mean, as a whole, no. The society,
Okay,
no.
so let me ask you, what's the point in staying in the house that they control?
You got to consider though, like I hear you,
But can anyone
African
answer
Pam
that?
Mulatto, I hear you, but
Yeah, go
do
ahead.
you think the average black person can afford to just up and move their entire family out of this country?
It's cheaper to live overseas.
Most
with
people
the
don't
US
even
dollar.
have passports. What you talking about?
So, but
Well, get 'em.
why hasn't it been done? Like I hear they've been
It's
talking
being
about this
done.
stuff since the 70s.
It's being done. Hold on. With all due respect, you're wrong. It's been African Americans leaving the U.S. since before the 70s, and our numbers overseas are only increasing. The number of, and I'm not about to preach to you, I'm going to just give a couple of examples. The number of African Americans in Ghana is rapidly increasing. The number of African Americans in Kenya, the Philippines, Vietnam, Brazil, et cetera, is rapidly increasing. So it's already taking place. So back to the question I asked, what's the point in staying in the house that the whites control, knowing that they won't treat you fairly? That's all I'm asking.
Well, I can answer that. I can answer that. Just tell me this. Just tell me this. Where is your current location?
Right now I'm in Puerto Rico.
Okay, so is it working out good overseas? 'Cause do you stay there or do you stay in America?
No, I don't even visit the U.S. anymore. I live in throughout the mainly I'm bouncing back and forth between Bahamas and Puerto Rico, but I got real estate in a number of different nations.
So, but you're a living testimony. Where, so when Candy asked earlier, where could we go? This is speaking for the lost Negro. This is speaking for me. Where could we get up and go to? Because I mean, it's really hard to detach from the system. You remember the Matrix when they had that cord in the back of their neck? It's really more difficult than it's easier said than done. So
I'm gonna
where's the
tell you what
place?
I suggest. Yeah, really, and I'm glad you asked me this. And I'm gonna just boil it down to really four particular nations. And if I think of another one, I'll name that one too. But offhand, I would say number one, Puerto Rico. Why? It's a U.S. territory. You don't even need a passport to come down here. We use the U.S. dollar already. Number two, the U.S. Virgin Islands, which includes St. Croix. Once again, very affordable. Very affordable real estate. Just like there's very affordable real estate in Puerto Rico. And once again, you don't need a passport to come down here. We operate off the U.S. dollar. Additionally, Ghana and Benin. The reason I suggest these two is because Ghana has a right to abode, meaning if you're African American, you can literally go to Ghana without a visa and stay indefinitely. Now, the process to get citizenship is a little more difficult, but is a pathway. And the
Yeah, they
final one
got
I'm gonna
they got a
suggest.
process like Israel, where essentially like it's a right
Well,
of return
yeah,
if you have
yeah.
like a genetic ties to Ghana and West Africa.
And the last one I'm gonna name is Benin for the same exact reason, but their pathway to citizenship. Pardon me, their pathway to citizenship is a little bit more direct. I put the website where you can apply for Benin citizenship in the back chat. But
I have a
that's what I off the bat. That's what I would suggest.
I have
Really.
a part two to that question. Now that you done named how it's good for Black people, I need you to go back and tell me which one of those countries, or name the countries that also is going to include women in that, not just Black
All of
people.
them.
All of
All of
them.
No,
them.
no. Okay. What I mean by that is there's a lot of countries like Ghana. You think that Ghana has the same rights for women that we have here, rights for women? Because I
Name
know
some
for a
rights that
fact,
they lacking. Name the rights that they lacking.
well, knowing some of the Ghanaian people, not excuse me, knowing some families that are from Ghana and how they operate, there's I'm not going to say it's rights to be taken away, but I'm going to say that there are social structures there, right, that exist that don't exist here. In the fact that there's pressures to the family, there's expectations that some of these women have to live under, like the aunties and whatnot can come over and whoop your behind if they you get into an argument with your husband. I wish your auntie would show up at my doorstep. You know what's gonna happen? Blow.
I don't know why you talking about killing black people and shooting black people. Really. Right now, we're talking about a place that African
I
Americans
am
not
talking
only. Let me complete the
I am
sentence.
talking safety
All right,
for
go.
women as well, though. I want
That's my
because we
point.
all
It's not.
Allow me
But
to complete the sentence. I'm gonna pass you the mic. What I'm saying is, the nations I mentioned, not only can African Americans move there and be safe and successful, they're already doing it. The proof is in the pudding. And in closing, just Google African Americans living in Ghana, African Americans living in Bahamas, African Americans living in Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands, and just see how they living. We having things. We don't got no problems. Y'all, respectfully, in the U.S., y'all are the ones with the problems, and I'm saying
particularly
that with
down
love.
here, down here in the Virgin Islands, women run this place. That's just a fact. The men are not
Damn, I'm
like
gonna drive down and
they're
come back. I
not.
can't hear who's talking. I'll be right back.
Yeah, but the men are just not on the same level. Like the men, they want to be construction workers. They want to be engineers. They want
Oh,
to
I
be,
need to phone a friend.
hands-on type of guys. The women down here, they're lawyers. They're real estate brokers. They're goddamn they're lawmakers. We right now currently in the St. Croix and St. Thomas legislature, we have majority women for the first time in history in both. We're about to have our first woman governor in Stacey Plaskett. The women
You
have been
know,
running this
Exactly.
territory for a very long time.
so
And
but
I
wait
can
a
speak
minute.
to that in places like Anguilla,
Yeah,
Trinidad.
yeah. Like she don't know about Frederickstead.
Wait a minute.
She don't know about
Well, I wasn't
Christianstead.
done, but all right, go ahead.
So here's the thing. I just recently had a conversation with somebody who's from the Caribbean who explained that the reason the women have all of these accolades and degrees and all of this stuff is because the country really doesn't care about the women like that. They will push them out there younger.
What?
Wait, let me finish. I'll give it back to you to speak on it. What they basically said was they kick their girls out young, early, like push them out there to the world, and they got to go survive. So they have to have educations. They have to be smart. They have to be equipped to get out there and take
Hold on,
care
so
of
they don't care about their women, so they put them in power.
Hold on a second. That's not true. That's not true. That's not true at all. The men down here, or excuse me, the families down here in general, we don't play about our girl children at all whatsoever. It's not no push them out to the world and they gotta survive. They're well protected and they have a great environment to grow up in. And
I don't know.
their education is what I was. Hold on, just one more point. Their education is prioritized way more than the boys' education. That's just a simple fact of what I've seen.
Okay, we gotta.
I grew up with a Grenadian mother and a Grenadian grandmother. I thank God for both of them because they didn't apply that to me. It was ass whoopings every single day and night, equally for me and my sister. When it came to our education, it wasn't a game.
Okay,
I'll just say that. Go ahead.
We got hold on. Let the sister speak. She ain't said nothing. She ain't said nothing. Go ahead.
My
sister.
bad. Go ahead.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Go ahead.
Yes, we hear you.
I'm with brother. Let's get out of here. I'm with you, bro. I am with. Did he leave? I'm with him. We need to get on.
All you need is a driver's license to get down here.
Well, I am so for it. I have told
unincorporated U.S. territory, right?
Yeah.
St. Croix is the U.S. territory, so it's St. Thomas, I believe, too, right?
Yeah. St. Thomas, St. John, St. Croix.
How are y'all selling getting out of the U.S. with U.S. territories? Like, isn't it like it's part of the U.S.?
Because it's majority black. You're not the minority there.
Exactly.
So white people are not running the country.
You could go to Atlanta for that.
Atlanta is gentrified.
That's different. That's different because it's a difference. It's a difference between you gotta realize that a lot of the folks in charge in Atlanta is where we saw the N words for Trump. So a lot of the people in Atlanta have this, how would I say it?
Be
they
careful
they gotta conquer mindset already.
I'm in Atlanta. Thank you very much for talking down about Atlanta. Where do you stay at, by the way? Travel in my business.
Oh, Texas. I stay in Texas. Horrible place, Texas. But that's where I'm at.
And I'm going to be honest with you. I've traveled abroad too, right? Military, Navy guy. I've been to Italy. I've been to Spain. I've been to Israel. I've been to Malta, Ismail. I've been to Africa, Djibouti. I've been to a lot of different spots, right? One of the biggest, because my uncle wanted to move out there to Africa too. He was talking about he wants to stay out there for good, this, that, and the other, until he saw the infrastructure deficits, right? And keep in mind, they're not a first world country. And then, like, if you live in some of the city areas, you can find some pretty good opportunity there, and maybe some a decent living. But anything outside that, though, could be some cultural adjustments, right, too, that we both kind of saw. So that's one of my big standstills about basically moving to Ghana. Now, St. Croix is an unincorporated U.S. territory. Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory. Feel free to move there. Just saying.
Say that again. I couldn't hear you.
Croix.
I heard what you said. St. Croix and
Puerto Rico are U.S. territories. If you want to move to those, feel free to. I mean, it's still U.S., right? Still get the same benefits.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about like second world countries, developing world countries, I'm not sure if like I'm ex-military. Of course, I know how to set up a tent, MRE, and just kind of live off the land if I need to. But most Americans, they just ain't ready for that.
We too spoiled.
First world country, yeah.
Not only that, like St. Croix, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, we have an insurance policy with the fact that we are tied to the U.S. So a lot of different places, when they have natural disasters, they're screwed, and they're screwed for decades. When a hurricane or an earthquake hits, we get FEMA dollars. We get repaired.
Didn't Puerto Rico
quickly.
get screwed though?
So
exactly, bro.
Trump called that place
No. Hold on one second. They're not as screwed as Dominica. Okay, Dominica
Right.
is
Well,
still
that's
screwed.
debatable. That's
They're still
debatable.
destroyed.
Let me say this. I'm in Puerto Rico right now. In the capital city of San Juan, we're dealing with water rationing, meaning 2 days out the week, literally your house ain't gonna have no water, no running water. That's a fact.
Yo,
In Dominica right now, they're not dealing with that.
I speak for every black middle class person when I say, now Master treats me nice. He keeps my water running. Cause I ain't finna go nowhere. I gotta be rationing out no damn water.
You stay up there.
I can
Stay up
hold
there.
on. I can't speak on that because on St. Croix we have cisterns. We don't do public water over here. So if rain hits your
Exactly.
roof, that's
Exactly.
what you got. And you could take the
Yes.
water from the sea and you got distillations. So I don't
Yes.
gotta worry about that. I don't know what they got
But
going on in Puerto Rico.
but just to bring everything back home, this is what I realized, man. I mean, as an African American, you have two choices. You can either stay in the U.S. and complain about how the Caucasians treat you, really mistreat you, or you can leave and find somewhere better.
I agree. I agree. I ain't lying. I agree.
Yeah.
I just got to get my husband on board, but I agree.
Much respect.
I've been
Yeah,
trying to
you
make.
you could get you a nice
I've been
piece of
trying to
land
make
down
the
here.
moves. I've been trying to make the moves to be do family nurse practitioner via internet or via at home, so that I can move and work from home. And like that was like one of my main goals, so that if we needed to get up out of here, we could get up out of here. Yes.
To y'all blacks that's leaving the plantation, me and you must never part at the that, because that's crazy. You look, I ain't gonna lie, I wish I had the balls to. I can't do it. I can't go on uncertainty. I'd rather deal with the beast that I know and fight. Like somebody put in the chat, what if MLK had went to Ghana? That's a fact. History would be completely different. Like, I don't know. I don't
And
know that
plus,
I
not to cut you off, Chef. My apologies.
The thing is, though, it's so regressive and so tense right now that it's just not a place that mental health of the kids and the kids coming up, like, stuff is just happening in reverse. It's not getting better. You would think at this point in time, 60 years after MLK's death, that we would have MLK and 60 years after Malcolm X, we would have a different outlook in this country. But it's the same thing going on. And what's gotten worse is that even these other people coming here, the immigrants coming here, are taking on the ideologies and giving us the same grief. And it's just like, and they numbers are growing while we are kind of becoming more of a minority.
That's always been that way. Like going back to the Asians and how they used to talk about black people and saying, why do you need assistance? We built Chinatowns in San Francisco and New York. Y'all are just always looking for a handout. That's always been the way it is. I'm not surprised when some big black dude from Nigeria comes over and calls black people lazy and says, why aren't y'all able to accumulate wealth the same way I did? And they don't know all the historical intricacies and the way how the system tried to hold black people down. And a lot of them don't care.
And plus, if you ever go to their countries, you find out they far worse off than we are here. You know what I'm saying? You go back to their homelands. Remember, they came here, you know what I'm saying, because they were looking for more opportunity. We didn't go there looking for their opportunity. So, you write out civil rights, you know what I'm saying, at least show us some respect, right? So that's a whole nother conversation in general.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, those Asian people. Look, this is crazy. White people teamed up with Asian people to get rid of affirmative action because they thought it was going to hurt us. But the same stuff, all them same grits and collard greens and ingredients that make us, we persevere. So it affected them negatively whenever they got rid of affirmative action, not us. Right. And it just go like, this is what I was trying to tell Pittsburgh Titus the other day. All this nuclear family, all that stuff is propaganda by white people to make black people always be on the defense about their blackness, right? We always, like I said, we always guilty until proven innocent, and then the moment we're proven innocent, we feel guilty. It don't make any sense to me. Like with the I don't know if y'all have been here, the two new panelists, but I was showing the clips of Karmelo Anthony and his behavior towards his girlfriend and stuff like that, and I was like, like it didn't change my opinion about this case. I don't think he should have got any charges. It didn't change anything. Like, do I think he might be a creep? Yeah. I mean, age has to come in a factor too, right? Like some people have
Yeah,
did
that's what I
and
was saying.
said
He's a
stupid
kid.
stuff at 15 and 14 years old and stuff like that. But you got to take that into account too as well. But I don't think anything should have happened to him. I think he should have got his walking papers. Like that white lady that we just showed wanted for her son. We should want that for our sons and daughters, right? That's what I think, in my personal opinion.
No, I was going to take it back to the affirmative action thing, right? The reason why they got rid of affirmative action really wasn't for us as black people. We weren't their target. It was women. You know, black men use, let's say, educational affirmative action about 9-10% at Harvard, right? Puerto Ricans, Latino people, men use it at 12%. But 66% of affirmative action that was being deployed in the education system was being used by women. This was something to deploy them to put them back in line to kind of get those birth rates up. And for whites, they went ahead, segregated it, traveled it off. It's been working for them a little bit. For us, it hasn't moved the needle. It's just gotten worse in our community. We fight even more now. So that's
I disagree with that. I disagree with that. We're the number one educated group amongst master degrees.
we're the one most enrolled, well, most master degrees, but most enrolled from what I understood. As master degrees wise, which race has the most master degrees? Give me a second.
I would guess it would probably be Indians
Look it up. It's black people.
or Sri Lankans.
And go ahead and do it per capita like they do everything else. But
I'm
I
looking
will
for it right now.
say
Okay.
that
While students earn and hold the largest number of master's degrees in the United States, according for roughly 61.6% of all master's degrees conferred annually, followed by Hispanic, Black, and Asian. So whites hold the highest number, followed by Hispanic, Blacks, and Asians. So I'm not
Yeah, they have
exactly sure.
this is more white people in America, but if you do it like and you adjust for population,
It
we're better.
says, well, what I'm looking at from it's a study by My Asian Voice. It says 27% of master's or advanced degrees are held by Asian Americans,
Asia.
then followed by 16% whites, then black people come in at 11%, and then Hispanics and Latinos at 7%, and then Native Americans at 6%. So
Okay.
so like I said, Indians, Koreans, Chinese people, Japanese people, Sri Lankans. Yeah.
But again, that's not per capita. That's not
No,
per the population.
that was done the study was done on a per capita basis.
That's per the whole of master's degrees.
Well, the study says it was done on a per capita basis.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, I don't even know. I'm not even fighting against that or for that. I just know that I was down for getting up out of this country. That's a great idea. And also, when it comes to the Karmelo Anthony case, I still believe it was self-defense. So that's not changing my mind. And that's all I have to say about that.
Well, listen, anytime you trying to look for a piece of land, you know what I'm saying? I could leave my number in the back chat whenever you and your husband are trying to get down here and trying to build your own castle, and you give me a call and I'll help you out with that. I'm trying to get my trade name registered right now. Marcus Molinar Housing Development Company. Right now I'm working under my mother in Showcase Realty, so I can always help you with that if you're serious about coming down here, because it's a lot of black people, it's a lot of hot sun, it's a lot of beautiful living, a lot of beaches, a lot of good food. People are generally friendly. I love living down here. I wouldn't leave down here for nothing.
Plus round trip tickets ain't too bad either. Looks like $691 to get you back from Atlanta. That is nice.
Yeah. Come down here, pour some money into my economy, man.
Well, I don't run that. My husband runs that. He just got to be on board. I've been on board with that. That's always been like one of my goals, especially when all this stuff started happening. I was like, it's time for us to go. And it's a difference when you're not the minority. It's a big difference. Um, because the same reason why um, people in let's say Africa can't understand what's going on in America because they have never been the minority. Even with everything they got going on, they still the majority. It's a difference.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I just think they don't care, and I think that they understand the dynamic, but they feel like if like there's a certain bit like of an incentivization to kick black people to the side and say I'm my own man and to pour themselves into the capitalist system, which has never really favored people who don't have capital, which has typically always been black people. So there's always been that kind of thing where they wanted to separate themselves.
Yeah, they want to get away from you. You actually are kin to them in a lot of ways. They don't want to fess up to that. You know what I'm saying? Because that means they got to share property, land, money, and all types of stuff. So what they do is keep you at a distance and deal with you like you were a third, what is it, secondhand citizen. They don't want to deal with you like that. But we also got to call out how black people handle other black people in this country too. You know, right? Because we talk
Very
about
true.
how bad the white man is, but a lot of this nowadays really ain't him as much as it is us attacking us, right? At every angle. Like this Carmelo case, you know what I'm saying? You saw a lot of black people attack Carmelo, especially online. And
Brandon
also,
Coon Tatum.
yeah. Nolan Wells, same thing. And
You know how many black people I heard running around space to space, channel to channel, like celebrating? Aha, the murderer's going to he's going to jail and all of this other crazy stuff. I'm like, y'all, you do realize you're still talking about a child, right? Like a kid. These were kids. I want to keep putting that in our minds that these was boys
Right,
that got into an
right.
altercation.
And that's why I said when Scholar asked about what's the difference between there and Atlanta, that the mindset of there's a lot of that mindset in those spaces. There's a lot of that mindset. And I'm sorry, I just want our kids to have the same type of consideration. Our kids can be scared and protect themselves too. They can make dumb decisions, but why we got to throw their whole life away? You didn't throw away that college student's life away who raped that girl behind that trash can.
You can't say that. Can't say that word.
You gotta
Oh, you
say
can't say
grape.
that word?
You gotta say grape.
no
Essay.
ma'am. Stay away
Okay,
from
Just
that
say
word.
grapes. I'm
essay. I
sorry.
say essay. I say
You
essay
can
because we know.
essay. You I mean, they essayed that girl. Essayed that girl behind that trash can, and you said you didn't want to mess up his life. You know what I'm saying? Or I just want us
They
to get the
just
same
had my bad. They
when
just
the
had a case where my bad sister. Go ahead, go ahead. I completely cut you off. Go ahead.
that's okay. When that young man went across them lines, that he was 17 with that gun that he was not supposed to have in a state where you ain't even supposed to be having guns, and an altercation breaks out and he kills them. Or I'm sorry, you can't say that either, right?
No,
Um,
unalive.
you unalive them, and he cries on stand and he free. And even that
They
young
just
man himself stated that Carmelo Anthony should be free.
they just actually had a case where a young 16-year-old kid who's a baseball star in his town essayed two girls, strangled them, almost killed them, almost broke their tracheas, and the judge he's not gonna spend 1 day in prison because the
In
judge
Oklahoma
said he's a
City.
youthful offender. I
In
Of
believe it
Oklahoma.
course.
is. I believe it was.
Hmm.
Yes.
I
Of
was
course.
there. I worked there. I worked
Of,
there when
of
all of
course.
that was going down.
That makes
Let let
sense.
it let it have been let it have been a Carmelo Anthony. They
And
just
this
said
and
he was a menace to society.
so with that being said, do we so like you know how when we was little they used to tell us we ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. If you ain't got nothing black to say, black people don't say nothing at all. If you're not gonna ride with the person that's being accused or whatever, don't say nothing at all. Preserve your blackness and your black opinion because they do it. Like you're never gonna beat them at at their game by playing by moral rules. Like that doesn't work. Like it took years of Jim Crow for and Martin Luther King them having dogs suck on them and fire hydrants and stuff like that, and also being roped up and stuff like that, for them to say, okay, we'll treat you civil. It took years of that. Like, come on, man. We're never like y'all
And
was
it,
saying
and it,
earlier. We either gonna leave, or start fighting by the same rules.
and, and
Now, see,
even then, I mean, it came back. These people ain't hanging themselves on ropes. But
Nope.
you can't nothing tell me that these black people are deciding to commit public unaliving of themselves
There's
on
actually a
trees.
study. There's a study I
On
just read
trees?
by there was a study I just read about Emerald Pages about how rare it is for black people to unalive themselves by hanging, especially on a public tree.
By
Like
ropes.
the
By ropes,
leading
Marcus.
What'd you say?
I'm just being
By
careful what I
ropes.
language. By ropes. Let's say ropes.
By ropes. Like that
Oh,
that
okay,
that
yeah.
that is
I was
not
just saying.
happening.
Yeah, it's usually by a firearm or it's
Correct?
by self suffocation
Yeah, it
using
makes
that gas
sense. It
exhaust in the
makes
car.
sense. Why would you do something like, come on now? So all these black people are mysteriously finding themselves the cause of death, stuff that happened to their ancestors for, like, come on, like what are the odds? Like, matter of fact, my next live is gonna be on that very thing. My next live that I'm planning to do is probably gonna be. I might do it tomorrow during the daytime. I might do it.
I'm gonna send you the article, Scott, because it really went into depth about the 77
You guys
public
mind if I get in on
hangings.
this?
Or excuse me, some public well, I just wanted to say it, but I'm gonna send you the article, Scott. Go ahead, whoever
No,
wanted to talk.
no, that wasn't me. That was BVO. I just want everybody to brace themselves before BVO speak. BVO has the capacity to every now and then let some raccooning come out. But go ahead, BVO.
Hey, I'll say in this conversation, this is a important conversation. I would say leave is not an option. This is our country too. And if you think about it, you think about back to Ulysses S. Grant when he wanted to set up a place for blacks to go, which before the Dominican Republic, what it is now, he wanted blacks to do that, and they wouldn't let us leave. They're not going to let us leave. I think the thing is, blacks will never separate from this country because we're part of it. We're ingrained in it as well. I just think that the sad thing is that we have to continue to watch our children pass away or see our children put in crazy situations like this. But the thing you got to remember, there's a book I read called Without Sanctuary, another one called The Delectable Negro. I think people got to understand that hate runs deep. It's deeper than just systemic. It's actually, people are taught this like a religion to hate black people. And I think that it's important to inform your children to be very, very understanding of what they're up against, especially when they're in the suburbs. Some of us work really, really hard. You know, I remember working 15, 16-hour days in the car dealership so I could buy a house in a better neighborhood because I didn't want my daughters to worry about, violence and things of that nature. So it's an ongoing thing. I think there is no right answer, but I think we just got to really come together as people and get together on the same side of things and continue to build our own communities. One of the community I live in now, actually, about 50 or 60 of us bought this area, and we kind of came together to make it a safer area. And I think you can do that. It's just that you got to get like-minded people. But for some reason, we've been bred to not trust each other, or I hate that black dude, or I hate that black woman. It's tough because we kind of have all the things that we say we hate, and then we have that inside of us, and we got to continue to work on that every day. But that's just my thoughts on it. I just want to add that tidbit that, it's not, there is no one way to fix it. It's just something that we got to continue to work towards together.
I like the BVO without coffee. Who's this nigga on this BVO? What? Huh?
This man always pull the Samuel Jack. What's wrong with you, man? Be
What?
I say
serious.
this, brother. My people fought in the Civil War too, right? You know what I'm saying? He got black blood all through. Remember, Abraham Lincoln was losing due to concession to South Carolina, even though he put out the Emancipation Proclamation, right? It's when you let blacks fight in the Civil War that he start winning his battles. And that way, you know what I'm saying? Thus, the 13th, 14th Amendment start getting pushed through. USS Grant finishes the job by making sure that's through every aspect of the South, which is probably our most difficult territory as black people that we tend to, how you say, congregate in, right? This is the most blacks live, more blacks live in the South than any place else, I think, in America. But it's also one of the most dense, racially segregated, tribalized areas in the United States of America. So With that being said, man, I mean, yeah. Do I think things can get better if we get in there and straighten things out? If we stay on our laurels? Yeah. Do I think we need our moral passion and convictions? Yeah. But we also got to recognize when we're being played with, right? As a community, like, oh, this is the law, so why are we not worthy of the same treatment under the laws as they are? That should be our major question. But as far as leaving America, though, hell no. Would you let these people run you off your land? Bro, you was born here, raised here just like they was. What makes them any better than you?
I think you make a great point. I think the hard thing to understand is that when you talk about chattel slavery, the slavery that other people experience is nothing like what we experience. And I think that anytime we bring up our existence, our pain, they call it reverse racism. I hear more people that are Anglo-Saxon say that people are racist than I hear black people. And it's just, I'm gonna be honest with you, as a community, man, we just not as educated as we once were either. So I think that that doesn't help. For some reason, we worship, evil, ghetto, stupid stuff. Prime example, I hate to admit this, but Adrian Bronner being an absolute buffoon and
Crash
a
out.
filthy pig has really helped my YouTube channel grow by covering him just being a pig, because that's what
Fact.
people want to see, and I think that's sad because you go from BET, what you had with Bob Johnson, when you had BET News, you had Teen Summit, to now you just got like almost no balance. You just seeing the complete opposite. It's just all ghetto hood stuff. BET After Dark was cool, but you at least at one time could watch, BET News. Now there's no variety, and I'm telling you, we're seeing something very scary where we're seeing these men, these guys who are men but who are raised by women who do not know how to control themselves, and it makes it dangerous not only for the women, but just as a community. When you got a very emotional man, I think that really leads to a lot of bad things. Now, people gonna say what they want. I just wish Carmelo would understood that just because you got into an argument don't mean you can take somebody's life. But at the end of the day, that's just what we all have been taught to survive. And my grandmother said it best, man. Do you want to live or do you want to die being a hero? That's the question we all gotta ask ourselves. Do we want to do like Martin and totally just, die alone like he did when he started speaking against the Vietnam War and American imperialism? Was the same thing you heard it with the Bin Laden letter. This is not a common thing. This is not an uncommon thing in America. This is what they do. They hate blacks and they want to take over the world. So
It's
we got to
so
just figure out where we fit in this puzzle.
I got a question
it's
for
so
all the
funny that hold on one second, ADS, please let me jump in here. It is so funny that you brought that up. It's so funny because that is actually my topic for tomorrow. And I don't know if you're subscribed to me. This is my first time meeting you. I hope that you come through because I would like you to speak on that. And anybody else who wants to, like I got my thumbnail and everything already for it. But it's
What's the
crazy that you brought that
what you
up.
said the topic? What my bad. I was doing so. What was the topic?
The topic basically is why we worship degeneracy right now, and it's comparing
Oh,
basically the content that Black people used to consume, the different world, the living single, the positive balance that we had in media and in the stories and what we used to watch and consume to ratchet TV. That's all we watch now,
I
and
think I
it's
think,
throughout the
but
culture.
I think that that's kind of like I'm not gonna say like it's normal, but like Muhammad Ali, even though I give him a lot of credit, he was a man of
Don't you do this?
principles and the fact that he was willing to lose his career to
Don't
take
you?
a stance not to go to Vietnam, and he also believed, like Fred Hampton believed, that black people should not be in the armed forces. But at the same time, I mean, he was a degenerate. He cheated on all of his wives, and this is something
please,
going
no
back.
Martin Luther
And this
King
is some,
slander. The
and
guy we
I'm
actually prop up our
I'm
civil
not gonna.
rights off of. We shouldn't
Yeah,
talk down
yeah,
to him
yeah,
like it's some epiphany that saying the man was human.
No, I
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
don't. I
yeah,
don't. I
yeah.
don't.
That's
So,
gonna.
Only in
That,
our
Believe it
community,
or
but what
not.
I was just gonna
only in our
what I was just
community
gonna
do
briefly
we
say.
do we
hold on,
vilify
hold on,
our
hold on, hold on.
heroes.
No,
Why you
no,
getting
no.
still
But
talking?
I was just gonna briefly say that. Yeah, I was just gonna say this quickly. But I think throughout history, like you go back to ancient times, that's always been a thing for young people. Like young people back in ancient times, they used to dream about being warriors and going out and slaughtering entire villages and towns of people, and they thought that that was some proud shit to do. Excuse me for cursing. Growing up, one of my favorite movies, and I don't know, it might have been one of y'all favorite movies too, was Paid in Full. I loved Rico, and I loved Scarface. The way how he came up and he was a killer and he was making all this
Mhm.
bread, and then how he went out in the end. Now, as a young kid, you really stupid. You don't realize like this is a horror movie. You wouldn't want to be
Yeah.
nowhere around these type of individuals. You
Yeah.
wouldn't want nothing to do with that. But that's like a childish mindset. And I
Can
think
I
that
I
get
we
agree.
just in a new age of this, where you
No, hold
got
on,
dudes
hold on,
like
hold on,
NBA
hold on.
YoungBoy.
gentlemen, I've been
What?
screaming for the mic now about 5 minutes, and y'all been this
I'm
thing
gonna
Oh,
back
my
say
and
this.
bad,
forth.
my
I'll
bad.
say
I
this,
was
and I'll
pretty
pass it
quiet
right.
myself, brother.
I'll pass it right to you. Hey, hold on. Everybody want their voice heard. So but I'm gonna let me moderate. Let me moderate. So I wanted to say this. The trick of propaganda of white media to me is making black people believe that they're different from everybody else. So we spend a lot of time defending us watching our consumer degeneracy when everybody does it. That's so frustrating to me.
Godfather, Goodfellas.
Okay,
Donald
well,
Trump, there were people that voted for Trump because they literally said politics was boring. They wanted degeneracy. But go ahead, brother. What were you saying?
I was gonna say, man, what you're seeing is the symptoms of a lot of different stuff, right? Which is destruction or basically urban rot of the black community. I mean, we didn't get hit with one or two things. We got hit with 4 or 5 things at once. Remember, we're a new race of people too. Black people, our version of black, it ain't been around, you know, saying, especially freedom wise, over 150, 200 years. So, you know, saying we're grateful to be here. Let's start with that. But we got hit with 4 or 5 things in the 80s when we were on our way, and in the 90s as we were progressing, right? Throughout the American kind of hemisphere. You got hit with heroin, you got hit with crack, you got hit with dope. You know what I'm saying? You got hit with sickness and disease, HIV, different stuff, untreated stuff, right? Mental conditions, while also being influenced by television, media, music. And you know what I'm saying? You got the single family home epidemic, right? All being influenced by these same things. And your kids are growing up in survival mode. So what do you think most of these kids are out here doing like these awful things because they really want to? Or because you feel as if this is the only way they can fit in or do certain things?
Yeah, peer pressure definitely
No,
has
I don't think
a
it's that. I think it's a level of immaturity. I think it's not knowing yourself, that lack of self-esteem, all that stuff that every
but all
every
of that plays
every
into
kid
peer
would
pressure though,
struggle with.
scholar.
Every kid might struggle with,
I,
finding
I would
themselves.
add this. I think self deprecation is one of the biggest things that we get in the black community. When you speak well, you speak in white. When you handle things with class, you doing it like a white person. It's like, there are certain things that are eternal to life. Like for me, being married. And I think that sometimes in life, we forget that at our greatest success, we had a 90% marriage rate at one time. Now you see we the only community that glorifies the rivalry between man and woman. So everything that's normal, the nuclear family, anything that's normal or just common behavior, well, it's always something extra when it comes to us. Just think about this. Take black out of it. Almost every human behavior now has a pharmaceutical answer to it. Sleep, sex, energy. Like there's something fundamentally wrong with the country as a whole. It's not just a black thing. I just think that as black people, we got to figure out what our niche is, just like I see them do here with the Asians, or I see them do other communities, the Jews. We got to figure out what our niche is and live within that and be okay with that. And I think that's the hardest thing to do as a black person, because we were taught that we're part of this nation. And at the end of the day, we're not when it really comes down to it. You guys realize that we only own 1/2% of all the wealth in America, black people, all together. So every millionaire, billionaire you hear about, less than 0.5% of America's wealth are held into black Americans' hands. And I think when you see that, the disparity in income, the disparity in education, these are highlighted things that show you why we're failing as a people. And it's okay to watch, crazy stuff and all that. But I think the thing is we trying to sometimes we embody it. I think that's the problem.
I agree with some of that. Sometimes you just gotta grow up. I think that's a development thing, right? If you have a lack of fathers in the home, your kids stuck in survival mode, trying to figure out life and which path to take, and the only type of support or positivity they see is people making money, saying women looking sexy, and then just other things, saying that don't help build any character in a human being, right? They just gonna grow up to be that way. So you got a bunch of people running around here getting money, stuck in survival mode, doing this and that and the other, versus looking about expanding a legacy, You know, saying and actually bettering our community. I think that's I know money is one of the resources that most lack in these situations. So of course they're going to go for that first. That does make that is a big part of this, right? But also, saying how you raise your kids, saying, or saying you teaching your kids at home, saying some of the better moral fiber, right? In America, are you teaching your kids, saying to be cautious and be smart about certain situations? What you see is an offset, in my opinion, of teachable moments when it comes to black people. Like you said, the unaliving that we've seen, especially over the last 7, 8 months, the desperation, the destitute, the attitude, how things are getting more tense out here in the streets. You know what I'm saying? They're getting way more tense with people. I had 4 or 5 people ask me for, in the last, and it's just like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's stressed out. So, I mean, we just have to be more mindful of that, but also give people better opportunities and better options in this life too. Because a lot of people feel as if their only opportunity and option lies on that particular path, which leads to destitution and ultimately failure, right? So those are things we got to work on as a community.
I'm gonna be
I
honest
Yeah,
with
you
y'all.
think
you have this. The thing
I
I'll
got
say,
I
you
got
got
something to say.
slaves who never got a chance to grow up. That's the thing you got to remember. If you take it back to the Bible, the children of Israel, when they left Egypt, they were slaves. They were not who they became 40 years later. What I'm saying is, when have black people got the chance to get that maturation process as a people? We never have. It keeps getting derailed. Every time we do something, crack hit us. Oh, then we do something good. Then we got amphetamines hit us. It's just always something to hit us while we're trying to develop. We got
That
to
ain't hit
remember
us.
we started off as slaves, man. We got to remember
I
that.
Methamphetamines ain't hit us. That hit white people. Hold on, I'm gonna pass it to you, sister, right after I say this. Listen, I'm gonna say this, and I don't know if y'all are on the same page, but black fatigue was hijacked just like woke was hijacked. Those were black terms, and it was basically talking about our experience. And white people are good at propaganda, so they gonna spin it. Like even white privilege that was made by a white woman, you know what I mean? Because the black women that helped her fight for feminism, she seen that they were third class citizens, so she came out with white privilege. They even started to flip that and say black privilege. It's a privilege to be black because we get so much of the benefits and all the other stuff. I think I can speak for the souls of my ancestors when I say I don't give a goddamn what white people say or think about black people. I don't care
Amen.
because they look at us and black people will say over and over, we're not a monolith, we're not a monolith. But then we're always defending ourselves as a monolith. We're always, well, this is what black people need to do. This is what they never are held accountable and talk about what they need to do for the least of them. You never hear them have meetings about what they need to do about PDF files. You never see this. But with black people, we always grouping up and having backroom meetings about like, hey, we need to stop doing it. We can't control what other people do, say in their households. All we can control is what we do, right? And I think that we've made a bunch of strides. You don't have to take my word for it. Just look at what we've done and accomplished. Like so, a while ago, when I made the point about the educated group, we are not the most educated group, so that was false. So I'm going to put the actual stat up. But in the meanwhile, sister, go ahead and say what you were saying.
So I wanted to rewind on a few things that was discussed. First, it was talking about how we sister was talking about degeneracy and how we intake that. And you have pointed out that everybody does. Before we had our reality shows, it was real world first. And that was a majority can we say YT?
White,
Majority white
Caucasian.
cast, majority Caucasian cast. There was a sprinkle of us in there, but it was them and their degeneracy. They even had the Guidos in the what's that show that I used to watch where
Jersey
they had
Shore.
the Italian people and all of the stuff that they was doing, right?
Yeah,
So
Jersey
that's
Shore.
always been there, but that's not anything new either. When we first saw black women in television, they were always the maids, always illiterate, always taking care of other people. When we there was the black exploitation films that were nothing about crime and degeneracy. Since television has come, this has always been a thing. That's not something new. So I can't even really credit that to behaviors of now. And also, I've said this before on this panel, black people were not nuclear family people. That was not us. That's taken on the white family dynamics, or I'm sorry, Caucasian family dynamics. Black people had community. The aunties, the cousins, and everybody, even the neighborhood, raised your children with you. And a lot of that is going. You don't even want the neighbor to whoop your child. You don't want to say nothing to your child. And I'm still the mother that if I see kids doing wrong, I say something. I don't care who kids it is. Now, would your mama want you to do?
Nowadays the
Would
kids
your
might
mama
whoop you.
want you to do that? I'll tell them. Well, I'm gonna tell your mama. Would your mama want? I wouldn't whoop them, but you know what I'm saying. The correction of children. You won't even allow the community to do it. We were not a nuclear family. We were not. We had cousins in the house with us at our grandma's house. We had aunties that would come together at cookouts every week, eat together every week. A lot of that is gone. The nuclear family is something that we did not do. We were community. We didn't move away and leave our families to figure it out. We shared. If we didn't have something to eat, we fed the other family. We fed that was our family. The nuclear family segregates you from your other family. And I think a lot of the time that was detrimental to us. This guide to try to be more like them. This is their family setup, their family making. I mean, even in the Caribbean, they family still over there. They still got cousins and aunties and uncles and stuff coming together. So
Yep.
that was never black people's uh that was never our family dynamic. And I wish that we would stop pushing that nuclear. No, we need all of us. You still need your aunties. You still need your cousins. The moment we start separating and, we get a little bit of money and we moving away from the neighborhood and stuff, that's when things start changing because we too busy trying to get YT favor. I don't care what they think about us either. I don't give a dang of the YT view. I don't think that you are less educated because you speak African American vernacular English. I've also said that here. Talking proper is just going ahead and dismissing our people and their dialect of English. So, yeah, I think that a lot of the mindsets that we have of trying to be this society that they want us to be instead of embracing who we really are, we say ain't in the South. Black people say ain't. I had watched another video and this guy was talking about finna. And there was a whole thing in the of YT people in the comments, finsta. That's not even a word. Yeah, because you don't know. You say we don't have no culture, but that's Black American vernacular English, and that's Black American culture. So that's why you ain't never heard it. But our dialect is our dialect, just as patois is the dialect in some of the Caribbean countries. So
Yep.
that's just how I feel. I think that we put a lot of emphasis on what YT people deem respectable, what YT people deem is normal. They normal is not our normal, and that's okay. But the degeneracy in television and stuff like that, that's been here. It's been here since TV started with the Ancient Mama. It's been here. Like that has never not existed. The moment that they put them black faces on and they was cartooning around pretending like they was us, we've always been portrayed in media negatively.
Not to mention the people that was doing media
Damn,
was
that's just been
participating
spoke.
was participating in degeneracy behavior now that's coming out now, like, Woody Allen and those type of people. So, you got that element of degeneracy that they never have any meetings about. You never seen one meeting like, hey guys, we got to do something about this PDF stuff. Like we're like, we gotta stop this culture. They never do that, but we're always defending black people, black strangers, because we don't know these people. We're always constantly defending. Like I said, black people, if y'all don't hear anything I say today, if you don't leave with no other message, just like they told us, you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all as a kid. If you ain't got nothing black to say, please don't lend your opinion, because it's gonna come out as fair, moral, all the stuff that they never do, and we're gonna end up losing, in my opinion.
I'll just say this if I could add this one thing. I definitely agree with what you're saying. I think sometimes what I'm learning is grandma was so influential that we gotta get back to daddy meaning something. Because if you hear a lot of guys talk, they sound like grandma. Where are the guys that talk like daddy, who talk about going to work, how hard he had to do, how he had to make a family? Give you a prime example. My uncle and my grandmother, they came to Cleveland from Wynn, Arkansas, because her brother was lynched. Not because they wanted to. They came because their brother was lynched, and they were able because one of the guys who was working on the train here in Cleveland was from that area. He came down and brought them here. So we got to remember, man, a lot of these situations that we're dealing with are really real, man. It's not just something that we making up or we reading about.
Oh yeah. I agree. My great grandmother had the same similar story, and my great grandfather, and she died at 102. So she was able to tell me out her own mouth before she passed of how my dad and my great grandfather put that gun in that YT man face in Mississippi, and they had to come here. So it's a lot of those stories, but you know, I honestly, like I have said before, I honestly don't think that. Um, I think a lot of it has to do with grandmother still staying. Like she was saving everything and everybody. A lot. Have you ever seen A Raisin in the Sun?
Yeah,
You've seen it?
Yeah, the best
yeah, the
one was
one
with
with
Diddy. The best
what's
one
it?
was with P Diddy.
I haven't seen the
No,
Diddy version.
I seen
I
the
watched
I'm
the
original
joking.
one.
I'm joking. It was
What's the name of
awful.
that guy? Scholar. He's a big time black actor, one of the biggest at that time in the '60s.
Yeah, it was.
Uh,
It was oh, what's it? Sidney
And he
Poitier,
was in
wasn't it?
in
yeah,
that,
Sidney
Sidney
and he
Poitier.
Poitier.
was yes,
I think
Sidney
it was.
Courtney.
Yeah.
Okay, so I saw the version with Sidney Poitier. Matter of fact, we read the book in school, and then we watched the play. We read the play, and then we watched it. I said all that to say, um, Grandma was there, right? And if you know this story, Daddy was there, Grandma was there, the wife was there, and there was a sister, the grandmother's son's sister, and she was in college. She was in college, and he was working, and he had dreams of starting his own business or something, and he ended up taking the money that they had from the grandfather's death and putting it towards his dream, but the person he put it towards ran off with the money,
Yep.
right? And what did Grandma say?
I mean, it's been
She
too
just
long since
she just said that my what did she say? My
she had
husband
faith.
worked.
She had faith. She had faith
She
that
never downed him. She allowed him to take that money, even knowing that it was going to ruin everything. She had him. She took that money. She allowed him to. She allowed him to be the man, and he messed up. And when he came back, they was sad about it. The sister was real mad, but the mama still held it together. And what I'm saying is that was a lot of what was going on. Our man had big dreams. Something would happen that the mouth and the mother was holding it together. And that's why I think that you get this like and this even if you read A Dream Deferred, which is a poem by Langston Hughes, I believe. Like if you read all the stuff within that era of time, black women have been saving the family from the black man's perspective because they're the ones who wrote these stories.
Yeah, that's an actual
They're the
fact. You
ones
know,
that
the black woman out there
and
with
so in
the weapons to
hindsight,
let the
when
men
you
vote.
say it, I think, like I said, the whole ideology that we have of how we're supposed to be is in through the lens of the white way it's supposed to be. It's not through the lens of how we have been living in our culture. You expecting circles and squares to fit together, and they don't. She still respected them. She still respected her son. She allowed him to do what he was. But this has been like this for a long time, and I think that we try to fit things into ways that are not our culture. It's not our culture. It's not in us. Our culture is different from their culture.
Excuse me, but such as
What?
is she talking about culture and and morals, right? Am I correct?
Yes.
I'm saying that our way of living
the
was
breaking
not their
news
way of
and
living.
text messages of Carmelo Anthony today, a lot of the black people was like, "Damn, I didn't know that about him."
Oh no, of course we didn't. That's why they didn't
Yeah.
want for it to come out.
So that's one of the ways that we different. I feel like we have more of a moral compass than white people. I mean, you don't
Mm.
need me to tell you that. Just look at we were.
I differ because I got to be mean here. I gotta be mean, but black men don't want to solve problems. Black men are not problem solvers.
I
Some
can
black men are not
I
Okay,
can
qualified.
speak for myself.
expound on that.
I'm a
Expound on
problem
that, brother.
solver. But go ahead, Big J. We listening. You got our curiosity.
Yeah, expound on that.
I mean, what do Negroes do on their spare time? Talk about relationships, talking about sex. When it comes time to talk about what, you spent 20 years talking about the same damn thing all the time, and yeah, you move a needle. Um, we'd rather have the Delta Novembers to take over the narrative. But anyway, are we so speaking about the Carmelo Anthony? I think that we're on this, right? Yeah, heard that the racism from the Metcalf family and the Metcalf boys especially is not put out the light. But I really won't, you know, I wonder if people are going to, if we're going to allow the online grifters. I think some of the online grifters need to be punished, like Charleston White, because y'all could have spent that money on having a private investigator, and go into the family, and investigate the family of Austin Metcalf, and put out information out, and make it public. That's what it should have happened. And also tell people like Brandon Tatum to get the fuck off. But everybody want to play defense instead of playing offense.
Well, I don't think the private investigator would have helped them
Oh yeah,
because
oh, yeah, yes it would.
that
Yes it
information
would.
wouldn't have been able to been showed to the jury either which way. But if you're talking about like a public narrative and shaming people like Jason Whitlock and
Right,
Brandon Tatum,
right,
I
right.
I I can hear what you. But those people are unshameable. They know that they're coons. Like my brother BVO, like my brother
You're missing the
BVO.
point. You're missing the point.
What's the point?
If they can sit there and talk about uh his Mr. Anthony's um family, and talk about, he brought a knife, he was a thug, all that, then I think the offense should have been okay. Well, what about Metcalf? Put all that out. That's why it needs to be a private investigator unit on cases like this, and stop letting Benjamin Crump or Charleston White or some of these idiots and clowns that we in the black community. Yeah, I'm starting being mean now about this, because we're really getting fed up. Been fed up for a while now. To make the narrative about the black fatigue. You need to combat that narrative.
But Ben Crump
I
is
think
somebody whose firm hires private investigators. Like his private forensic investigators are helping the
True.
Wells family right now. So I don't know what Ben Crump had to do, but I get your point about a public narrative. I absolutely hear what you're saying. When it comes to combating people like the Tatums and the Coons like that. But when it came to the trial, I mean, I just think Carmelo Anthony, those people already made up their decision. I mean, it only
Yep.
took them
they
what
did.
2 to 3 hours. There were
They
no
did.
black people on the jury.
The only
The
reason
only
it took
three,
2 to 3 hours is because they probably had like lunch that they were
yeah,
waiting
they
on.
probably brought. I remember in the Emmett Till case, one of the jurors said we would have came out with the not guilty sooner, but the sheriff brought us some cokes and some donuts.
Yes, yes, yes. Something
Oh, I
similar
mean,
to that.
yeah, I don't think that would have affected the case too much because that wouldn't have been able to have been showed to the jury because of this gentleman's agreement between the prosecutor and the defense. But I get what you're saying when it comes to trusting like Southern law enforcement and their investigators. I think if you're gonna defend yourself, you should always go. You should always, if you have the money and the ability, you should always hire your own private investigators to find evidence and not
Well,
just trust the discovery of what the government is going to give you.
well,
Like generally,
also,
I agree with that.
we got to sit up here and just put it where it belongs. Them parents, come on now, ain't no way. Cause you talk about that man. I'm so mad at that boy's daddy. First of all, why you got that man, the man that they chose to be the lawyer? Why you got him on your case anyway? There were so many other lawyers that would have taken that case, who are of color and who were not gonna stand with no black people being on that jury. Why would you? The choice in his lawyer period was stupid.
But
I'm
but
just
let,
gonna
but
go
let
ahead
me
and say
also
it.
but let me also add
And when
something.
you try,
Oh,
hold
go ahead.
on,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
when you also think about it too, when you think about you brought up Crump. I don't think Crump is even legally able to assist somebody in Texas. You know, these lawyers have jurisdictions
Well,
in their
he's
state.
a civil rights attorney. He's not a criminal attorney, so he wouldn't have been able to like represent him in like the criminal murder case.
Right. And so, I mean, because if you go to Crump's page, you can definitely tell that Crump is pro Anthony. So, I just think that the parents dropped the ball on this. And
Well,
then
well,
too, the daddy has been so docile, he ain't said a word. That
but let
mama
me.
is always on that stage crying and talking.
But let's also talk about that too, about the parents. There's a reason why. I don't know if y'all read, but there's a reason why he carried the knife, why he carried the blade. There's something going on inside that Anthony household. See, if they would shine light on that part, uh, but he would have more sympathy when it comes to into the public narrative. Because let's see, one of those parents are abusive.
Oh yeah, I agree. That's how come he talking like that to his girlfriend. I was just gonna
Yep,
say that.
yep, yep.
That is learned
That's a
behavior.
learned
His
behavior.
daddy over there knocking
Yep.
that mama through between the washer and the dryer, and that's what he see at the house.
Right, right. So, I mean, that should be brought up too. But and this how sorry that punk ass daddy is. Right, he is a punk ass bitch. But like when he got up on what's the name's show and talking about, well, I gotta feel, I gotta protect her feelings and not his. Wait a minute, your son is facing 30-35 years. Your wife is gonna be okay. It's going outside of this. He should be the first one to be. I forgot whose show I was on. Let me be quiet. But uh, yeah, he is the problem. He would not sacrifice himself. He should have sacrificed himself. Yeah, I'm abusive to my wife, or I'm abusive to my husband, and so forth. And that's why our son is carrying a knife in his backpack. He had no ill intent.
So let me
Anybody else?
let me say this before I play because I actually have the news thing. I didn't finish playing it, and I think what Big J's talking about is in there. But before I say this is how you know this is like the country is just completely like effing crazy, right? So you look at what when people was reacting to this, the other people, the Caucasian people, right, and what they were saying. You remember they were like, "All you black people are dumb. Y'all are supporting criminality by donating to Carmelo Anthony." And then look, you're so stupid because the mama went out and bought a new house. And y'all remember all this stuff that they were
Yeah.
saying?
Yes. Yes.
Like,
Yes. Yes.
and to me, like it's aging like milk because like they're getting they might potentially get a retrial. Like they were conserving their money to not end up like George Zimmerman. Because I don't know if y'all know, George Zimmerman is now homeless after raising millions of dollars because he didn't know how to ration it out to his legal defense. He went and
Yeah.
got top dollar and all the other stuff, and now he's broke.
No. Yeah, he got sued into the dirt.
Now, George Zimmerman was facing other criminal cases. He almost got sliced and diced by his friend. He almost got shot by the other friend. There were other instances of violence of George Zimmerman, so it wasn't that's why he was losing money.
Okay, let me play the rest of this. Let's see what's this is Carmelo Anthony's.
I see red. When I get mad, I black out. When I get mad, I can't control myself. Prosecutors also produced messages where Anthony admits to getting high and drinking alcohol and even talking about selling drugs to get guns. In 2024, prosecutors say Anthony even attempted to assault a teacher, saying, "I put my hands and face and everything." Also in 2024, messages obtained by prosecutors suggest Anthony tried to bring a weapon into the State Fair of Texas, asking a friend if the State Fair got metal detectors. When he was told yes, his friend responded, "You got the poker?" "Yeah, I might have to toss it," replied Anthony. Prosecutors say Anthony admitted to stealing a watch and earbuds in separate burglaries in Collin County, and also to bringing a weapon onto a Frisco school campus, saying this about his girlfriend: "She went in my bag to get my computer, and I said no, and she still went in it and grabbed it, and my gun and my knife and some other stuff fell out. There are numerous unreleased photos and videos of Anthony holding firearms and making threats, and authorities found a note on Anthony's phone with a long list of disturbing racial tropes and slurs about black.
This is the media. This is propaganda. Like, you found Karmelo Anthony said some racist stuff about black people. Now he's racist against blacks, whites, and Mexicans. Who's left? Indians? Asians? Who does he like? I'm like, I know propaganda when I see it. And I'm listening to the coverage of this. They were like, well, he smoked marijuana and drunk alcohol. So, I feel like the prosecution would have had a weak case and would have looked like they were trying to villainize Karmelo Anthony. The defense team should have let them put all of this stuff out.
I agree.
Blacks, whites, and Hispanics. In one message thread, prosecutors say Anthony wrote, "I hate gay people." Prosecutors
Which has no bearance on this case unless Metcalf was gay and we didn't know it. To me, at this point, they're just reaching. Like, oh, he carried a gun to a public event. So,
But here's his thing. If
Isn't that normal in Texas?
If they're going to release this, right? Release Metcalf's racism and his vandalism, putting KKK up on walls and in doors of people of houses. If you're gonna do that, then put Metcalf racism.
They did. I just got it at the beginning. I'll go back to it. I'll play the rest of this and I'll go back to it.
Prosecutors say Anthony repeatedly threatened to murder his girlfriend in text messages, some of them saying, "How many bullets you want coming out of your chest?" and "I'm going to get you," expletive. He also threatened her with a knife in one message and told her in another, "When I stab somebody, I'm going to lick their blood off the blade." Prosecutors and defense attorneys were able to develop these character reports from a combination of school records, police reports, and cell phone extractions. The hearing is expected to end sometime tomorrow. It will resume it.
So here's what you call it stuff. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I was a little bit mortified by both. I'm gonna just be honest with you. So here we go.
That one with the knife talking about "I'll stab you and lick your blood." That's really bad.
Yeah, it's bad, but it's I don't know.
No, Scholar. When
You ain't got nothing black to say. You ain't got nothing black to say.
somebody-
Hold on. You ain't got nothing black to say. Hold on. You ain't got nothing black to say.
you're a coon. You're a coon. How about that, Mr.
No.
Coonsky?
Hold on.
His brother Hunter were once caught spray painting graffiti, including KKK Kill All Blacks and Heil Hitler, along with the N-word, and were sentenced to 12 months of juvenile probation. Records reveal they reportedly told authorities, "We did some dumb stuff. We did some vandalism." There are several documented instances of Austin using racial slurs in school, and in 2023, Austin was accused of bullying a black student in class. In 2018, while still in elementary school, Austin and his brother were accused of bullying and assaulting a female, which led to his arrest. During an argument in 2024 with another female student, Austin allegedly knocked her to the ground and punched her in the stomach. He was also kicked out of a football game and texted someone later, "I was about to beat the expletive out of those kids." At a previous track meet, when another student alerted Austin that someone not on their team, quote, "behind our bench was talking wild," Austin reportedly replied, "Kill that MF." During the 2023-2024 school year, he received in-school suspension twice. School disciplinary records from April 2022 to May 2024 reveal that Austin reportedly called a teacher the B word and used profanity. He told a school official that he couldn't control it and wasn't aware that it was coming out of his mouth. In 2024, on at least 5 occasions, Austin saw a counselor regarding his anger and rage during a football game. In 2021, he got banned from attending basketball games for a season after yelling profanity at a player. Metcalf also got suspended after he and another student were talking about bringing a gun to school the following day. But the never-before-released details.
I think it's safe to say that don't drink the water wherever they are from in Texas, because they got woman beating in it, they got violence in it, and they got gun bringing in it. But I mean, if we're going to judge the two the same, Marky Dan, Karmelo Anthony's was horrific, but it was more so what I will do, and the other guy was actually putting hands and feet on people, and just like he did with Karmelo. So that kind of led to his unaliving. Like, he actually carried out the he didn't threaten, he just did it. you know, and sad about when he didn't do it. Like when he missed the person that was trespassing on his territory, we should have unalived that MFer. Like that was his response. So I mean, one was about the action. I think that has to do with color too. He was emboldened by his whiteness to carry this stuff out. And Carmelo Anthony was just, you know, he would teeter on it because maybe he knew better. Maybe because he's black, or maybe his mama raised him better. I don't know.
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying 1,000%. But Carmelo, he has his own documented incidents. And some of the rhetoric, and then the stalking incident with the girl, and then threatening to beat her up. That in itself is like a terroristic act because you're putting fear in this girl's life. But I will say this: Austin
I don't
Metcalf
know.
was not no
They both
Austin Met.
sound pretty bad to me.
No, I agree with you, and that's what I was gonna say. Austin Metcalf was not no angel like what they try to paint him out to be. Neither of these boys were. And this next trial, like I told you earlier, Scholar, all of it should be included, and let the chips fall where they are. Because at the end of the day, they just have to prove that Carmelo Anthony was reasonable to believe that Austin Metcalf was going to do serious bodily harm to him. And when you include the fact that Austin Metcalf is a documented racist, has a documented history of bullying black people, punching women in the stomach, calling teachers bitches, talking about spray painting Heil Hitler and swastikas on walls, and then you bring up the size difference, the fact that Carmelo has epilepsy. I think that he has a good chance of getting off on the murder. The manslaughter is a whole different thing, and I'm essentially just repeating what I said earlier. Go ahead.
I don't know. Let me say this. I think it's time to start changing laws when it comes to the media and how um, the online influencers and the grifters are doing this, right. Um, we need to bring back the fairness doctrine. Fairness doctrine has been destroyed since 1987. You need to bring that back because that will stop the Jason Whitlocks and the Matt Washes of the world who use this story to put out propaganda out, because like they do it. These online grifters have one have tempered the jury pool by putting out a narrative, and when the media should be neutral in stories like this. I'm just saying, but carry on. Just
Yeah, freedom of speech is it's a funny thing. Like I heard somebody, basically give me an analogy. America's freedom of speech is kind of like you have 10 people in a room screaming at the top of their lungs, and at least 6 of those people are bad faith actors who are from either side, and then you have 4 people who are actually trying to give like honest perspectives on how they see a situation. Then you have another room where you have a guy holding a firearm, and he says, okay, everybody gets to talk one at a time and you have to get fact checked. Which one do you prefer? And
But Dan,
that's that.
but let me say this. Marky Dan, because somebody pointed this out, and it's like I said, I didn't even notice this. Whenever the media was portraying, this is CBS. They consider CBS to be liberal. Matter of fact, Donald Trump has attacked them on several occasions, right? Even got them to get rid of Fallon, I believe, right? But the way that they depicted Metcalf was his high school picture, like every with his brother and loving and stuff, and then here goes Carmelo Anthony's picture of his prison. Like, so out of all the photos that he has online, you can only find this one or the one of him holding a gun. Even though the Metcalf talked about bringing weapons too and has had a violent history, they didn't pick any of those things in the graphic, but they did it for Carmelo Anthony. Gee, I just wonder why. I wonder why. I can't put my finger on it, but it's something there.
He's a thug. That's the impression they're trying to give,
Yep.
scholarly.
but see, CBS is owned by the Allisons, and Allisons is close to Trump. So I wouldn't say it was safe to say CBS is no longer a liberal network. They're just another Fox News.
Oh, I
Yeah,
agree.
they're an arm of
Yeah,
Israeli media now under
yeah.
Barry Weiss.
So I
Right.
agree with that. I agree with that. I was just making a point that these so-called liberal stations still do white tactics, even though they're considered liberal. Like the way they portray black stories, they're still gonna paint us out to be the villain and
But
pretend
this is
under
this
the
is a
umbrella of being
local
fair.
this is a local CBS affiliate. This isn't like the CBS.
They're responsible for everything that goes on CBS and has the logo on it.
Not quite. Local stations do have some autonomy. Um,
Yeah, like Fox San Diego is not Fox News. Like they're not the same at
right.
all, Scott.
Like Fox 26 in Houston.
Yeah.
Fox 26. They're even like they're ratchet. That's a ratchet news news station, but it's not like Quantel X and Candace Matthews on there all the time. So they're not really actually like Fox News, the parent company.
What
So,
makes it ratchet?
well, you know how like Isaiah's show. So I'm down here in Texas, so Isaiah's show and the Quantel talking about the white man, blah 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 blah. The same old Nation Islam crap, and then Fox 26 is very um out there. But anyway, so that's all.
I mean, I heard racial. I mean, I might have heard like racial bias in reporting. I didn't hear ratchet. Like ratchet to me is like Saucy Santana having a segment on your show. That's ratchet to me.
I
Or they got
mean,
them,
I
or they got
honestly,
them folks. I don't know if you know them. They got this black lady. She's real beautiful. She's a younger black lady, and then they got this older white dude. And the older white dude is just always hitting on black women. Like they follow him around to the bars, and they were following him around during the FIFA World Cup, and he was just hitting on every piece of chocolate he could find. That's ratchet to me. Like they weren't even doing no reporting. It was just him.
But anyway, well, thank you for having me on Boxing Scholar. So,
No problem, no problem, man. I always love your
Yeah.
perspective.
all right then.
Yeah, I gotta go too, Scott. I was supposed to leave an hour ago, but we really got into some pretty great topics. But I
Nah,
gotta
don't
take
you
my
run.
son to an
Don't you
appointment.
run now. I know what's happening right now. That dude from Django called you. Was it Steven?
You could go straight to hell, Boxer
I,
Scholar.
I just joking with you.
Go find,
I just
go
joking. No,
find.
Marky, we're not gonna do this. We're not gonna fight in front of the man, brother. We're not gonna do. We'll fight behind the scenes. We're not finna do that no more. From now,
All right,
now going forward, brother. We uniting all the time on every subject, even when you're wrong. I'm gonna just say,
yeah,
you know what, Marky Dan, I see your point. You're right. That's what I'm gonna start doing, brother.
good. Yeah, you sound just like what's the name of that guy, Cornbread from Sinners? We got to come together. We got to be great, nice people. I feel you, Boxer Scholar. Take it
All right,
easy.
man. All right, man. Appreciate you pulling up. So before we get up out of here, because I wanna end this on a playing in your face note, right? So to all the people that said it wasn't about race, and then we see clearly that uh, Metcalf's family, Metcalf's have forget about his daddy, right? He has a racist past, right? And he has a past of bullying, he has a past of being aggressive, all of those things, right? And he was the aggressor. He punched Carmelo in the face, no matter what Carmelo was going through. But like, I just want to take y'all down memory lane, right? Like, because everybody, like I said, white people spend a majority of the time, not all the white people, not all the white people. We talk about the white people that are on the other side, right? The people that think that Metcalf was innocent and he's a hero, when really he's a mascot for white supremacy, and they know that. That's the elephant in the room, right? But those people always stressing us, it's not about race. It's not about race. You guys need to stop making this about race. All the meanwhile, they make everything about race. They will make a woman who called a little boy the N-word a millionaire based on some false allegations that she was getting threats on her life, right? So you have that where they play in our face all the time. But I just want to play this video for a second, because whenever we do something, they say, where are the fathers? And if the fathers are in the house, they're always going to poke holes into their character. Well, these people are really people that you shouldn't trust. They're not even down for the struggle. Remember Kamala, she don't have the black experience and all this old stupid stuff. So first is, where are the fathers? If they have the fathers around, they're going to poke holes in the fathers' legitimacy or credibility or whatever the case may be. Right. And they did that, and they played that game so well that Karmelo, after the sentence was issued to Karmelo, the Metcalf's dad came out and did a 3-hour live. And I just want to play some of the highlights of some of the moral, non-racist, upstanding things that he had to say. So brace yourself, because it's going to be so moral that you might fall out your seat. So here we go.
You don't even know who your fucking daddy is, because 78% of you don't have your father in the home anymore.
That was just a couple seconds. I didn't know he cussed. My bad. I didn't know he cussed in this video. I literally made this right before I came on, but I didn't know he cussed.
It's okay. You can play it. We're past. I think you can't cuss in like the first 7 minutes or whatever of your stream. We good now.
Okay, here we go.
You got baby mamas running around with 8 kids so they can get EBT cards to feed you all. You think I'm being racist? No, I'm being real. Oh, you've got more melanin than me. Ooh, so you get more privileges, more entitlement? Because 400 years ago, someone actually sold you to us, and we took you over here and put you to work. And then we had a civil war to free your ass. And now you want to talk shit? Oh, I've been so oppressed. You couldn't even vote 1960.
So many things. So yeah, that's live B. So many things to unpack there, right? The fact that they always go 400 years like Jim Crow didn't exist is always just like blows my mind. And you notice how the energy changed, how he was so passionate, like, and then this and that, and y'all are getting the benefits. And then when it came time to talk about white people's place in it, it was, well, 5 years ago, so like start whispering basically about white people's role in slavery. And then he try to justify it with, and then we freed y'all. We fought. Okay, sir. Who was the opposing
I
side?
was
And
just
what did
gonna say that. The Civil War. You brought that up like this, and we fought ourselves to free you from ourselves. What?
and then you could even make the argument that white people have felt guilty about spilling white blood for a stronger union, because that's what it was about. But white people have felt guilty about that. So guilty, they allowed them to get together every year and reenact the Civil War, then build statues in honor of the people who fought to keep us in bondage. Oh my God. This is so crazy to me. And then you talk about black fatigue. You're tired of us? Insane.
Look how far you've come. Look at all the free shit we give you. You're not oppressed. You're fucking entitled. You know what DEI stands for? Yeah. Means I don't have to be.
This man went to what does DEI have to do with your son? This is how he understands the assignment. He understands the mission. He knows that he is a face for white supremacy. So he's going through white supremacist talking points. DEI, all of the Trump's greatest hits, the Heritage Foundation's greatest hits, he's about to go down the list of all of them. And none of them have anything to do with your son. You should be happy. You got justice for your son. You're happy with the verdict and still angry. All the time. They walk around with a chip on their shoulder. And then I don't know if y'all caught this, but he said something that I thought was really important. Oh, because of my melanin. Because of my melanin, I'm entitled to these programs. He didn't say because I'm black. That was too specific. That was too character specific to let me know what the real problem is. Because you could clearly see he looked like a baked potato right here. I mean, I'm just saying.
Fucking qualified. I just have to be a certain color or a race or gender. Whose broad ass idea was that? I'm gonna tell you right now. Charleston White, you think you're funny? We'll see who's laughing. Drew Anthony, You're a pussy and a coward, and you raised one. Kayla, you drunk bitch.
So I was watching this and somebody said he almost slipped and called Charleston White the N-word. Let's see.
Kayla, you drunk bitch. You're a pussy and a coward. You think you're funny? We'll see. Charleston White.
Yeah. I heard it. I heard it just now. I heard the silent N-word. Charleston White, you. I heard it right there. Yeah. He paused and caught himself. He was like, yeah, had to catch myself. Got a little bit of that bourbon in me.
Now, how you gonna say that?
Yeah.
Play it again. Play it again, Scholar.
You think you're funny?
Hold on.
Charleston White. You think you're funny? We'll see who's laughing. Drew Anthony, you're a pussy and a coward, and you raised one. Kayla, you drunk bitch. What'd you do to that boy to make him stab somebody?
What is he mad about? Can he sound like Tupac at the end of Hit 'Em Up? Like, what is he mad about? Like, why is he
I'm
going
so
down the
done.
list of all the people? Like, it's crazy. He like, yeah, Barack Obama. You like, what? What Obama got to do with this? This dude's just, yeah, he understands the assignment. He knows that he is a beacon for white supremacy. He's the face for it, and they choose different faces because they want to uphold it. And it's common sense, right? If you're in the VIP section of a club, you don't want to give up your VIP status, especially if you could get born into it. See, when you go to a club, you gotta go in and know somebody. You got to have some type of money or something. They're born into white privilege and they're aware of it. So they want to maintain it. They want to always be able to use it, right? They always talk about a race card. Like, that's their race card, white supremacy. So they always try to uphold it. And anything, that's why whenever we call it out, it feels like persecution for them because they don't want to lose their status. They're holding on to their things, self-preservation, right? And that they know how to preserve it. One thing white people know how to do is preserve themselves. They are definitely going to do that. And that's why they always give money secretly to Carmelo Anthony's people, try to outdo us. They don't want us to give money, but we'll give money themselves. Then talk about freedom of speech and freedom of this and freedom of that, but try to coach us into not supporting and using our speech or whatever to support Carmelo Anthony or try to shame us for doing it. Well, only one party supports criminals. Like, bro, we see who's in the White House and y'all still out there lobbying for him, but that's neither here nor there.
Buddy, my God, what kind of mother are you? Hey, Kevin Hayes.
I didn't realize he named Carmelo Anthony mom. I didn't know that's who he was talking about there when he just called her a B. So he's talking about
Oh,
her
you
mom.
didn't know the drunk bitch was her?
I didn't know that. No, I
Yeah.
didn't know that. I didn't know that because he's this is so
Now
many
my
people. I thought it might have been the cameraman because he
no,
got smoke for everybody.
he went on the father first and then went straight to the mom. He was going down the list of people. Yeah.
I think I know what's coming next in this. If you down with Bad Boy, then F you too. Is he gonna say that next? Because damn,
You fucking liar. Day after it happened. How many lies did you sit and type up on your keyboard, you big keyboard warrior? You a big tough man. You still live in Baton Rouge? Talk, Mr. Squeaky Clean. You're the only one in your family without a damn record. I guess that's something to brag about in your culture.
you see what I mean? This is why I don't care what they say because they all share this sentiment. The people I literally seen when I was looking for this video clip, it was a guy reacting to it. It was a white man. He was like, because one culture only supports criminals, and we know what culture that is. And then he moved on after he said that. Like, it's no different than this guy saying it, and then the little mouth. I don't know what that would be called, the mouth shrug, and the eye roll. Like, we know what culture that is. We don't have to discuss it. It's already established fact.
Something to brag about in your culture. You people hang your hat on the dumbest shit I've ever seen. Y'all can let me make something racist up so y'all can go viral. I got a new name.
Let me just make something racist up. I'm not a racist, but I'm just gonna find it. I don't know where I'm gonna find it from because I don't have a racist bone in my body. Maybe I'm gonna borrow this statement from my ancestors because I don't have any racism in
Yeah,
me.
everything that he was saying was race litten, uh, race laced. How would you say that? There's racial undertones in a lot, everything that he's
Shit,
running on.
overtones. This he was
Yeah.
the mascara of racism. He, like I said, he understood the assignment. He understood the assignment. And then even after here, like, well, look, I don't know. Let me say something racist. Like, you remember when JD Vance said you don't have to be afraid to be white anymore? He was talking about this. He was talking about this, like, because he inched. It went from a little bit of this to a lot of that to a lot of that to a lot of that. As the stream got on and he got drunker, it got progressively worse to the point where, he said this beautiful statement right here. Because black people make everything about race, right? And this is not about race, right? So tell that to the racist person that came up with this statement. Like I said, he don't know where he got it from, but he drew it from the gut. Here we go.
For Mello, okay? Because he was such this little boy I was trying to portray. How about watermelon felon? How's that one strike you?
How about watermelon felon? How does that strike you? Like, and here's the craziest part about this. And, I had my sister Queen on the panel, and she was letting the white people have it. And I was telling Queen, like, we can't do that. Like, we could discuss it and have discourse and stuff, but we kind of handcuffed it where we can say we can't online fight them the way they fight us because they don't believe in real freedom of speech. They will cancel us. They'll call our jobs. They'll do all of this weird stuff, and we see that
And
in the case
it
of
doesn't
CK.
do any good. That's what they want. They want you to get triggered. They want you to be upset. They love the fact that saying the N word is going to send you into an emotional spiral. And I just don't have the energy nor the time. Like, say what you want. Like, I'm not going to be puppeteered by a fucking troll. Sorry.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I won't be controlled anyway. And plus, my job got benefits. Can't do. What that girl always say in the movie. I need this money. I need this money. But no, yeah, and it's not worth it. It's like we already know what this is. We know what he's trying to do, and we know that he's racist. Like, look at his son. Look at how, like, he talked about the parents and what an upstanding job they did, while ignoring the fact that what he did with his kid. Your kid was racist just like you. Your kid would still be alive if you wasn't a piece of crap that you are. The racist piece of crap that you are, your kid would still be alive to this day.
Right. Like, and see that the whole time this was happening, like, I, again, the humanity in me understands that while this man is as hostile as he is right now, he's still a grieving father, right? So I'm not going to take that away from you. You just lost one of your sons. But the thing that you're not taking into account is your actions, your thought process directly had an impact on that as well. Just like you're blaming Carmelo's people, you are responsible for your son's aggression. You are
Agree.
responsible for the way that you grew this boy up and raised him, and so that he walked around like big bad, big Billy bad, and I can do whatever I
Bulletproof.
want to,
Yep.
and it can cost him his life.
Yep. And
Like,
and the idea that he's demanding accountability but don't want to accept none for his son's decisions is insane to me. Like, yeah, okay, accountability is not just and that's the thing. White people think accountability is something that's a coin that's one sided. It says accountability and blacks on one side and accountability and blacks on the other side of the coin. Don't got nothing to do with white people. That's what they really think. But no, if we're gonna be accountable for the decisions your son made. Since 'cause
exactly.
your son wasn't upstanding either. Like, and who the hell said Carmelo was upstanding? That's what like this is what I'm trying to say. Like, even when before you knew what you knew, Candy, you said Carmelo should still get jail time. And I believe my
Yeah.
sister on the panel said the same thing, that they still believe he should get jail time. Nobody was saying Carmelo was no angel. And even to this day, like, even with finding stuff out, we're being a little bit more appalled. But like, even to this day, like the mindset is still morality based. Like, the justice is based in morality. So I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Because if it was up to him, Carmelo would have got life or perhaps the death penalty.
I hope he enjoyed his first night in that cell last night, because he's going to have many nights to think about what the fuck he did. Tiffany Billions, I don't know what kind of glamour shot you steal from other people and put up on your profile, but it don't matter.
Yo, this dude petty, man. Now he worried about her looks. This is real, like black jealousy, obviously, right? He's talking about melanin and stuff that ain't even got nothing to do with the case and how she looks. Like, and this is the thing. It's, we can see you. What can nigga, we
Well,
can see you.
he conveniently waited until after the trial. Had he been on news and a press conference talking like this, like I believe the people would have taken into account his attitude and how he is. And like somebody is saying in my chat, the Carmelo family will be put on trial. His family would have been put on trial as well. Like
Mm.
that would have, I believe that the attitude would have been weighed in. That's why they had him silent. Somebody said they had a gag order or something.
Oh, definitely
Because
did.
it's
Because
like he was waiting to unleash all of these feelings for the, now that this is over, I can tell you how I really feel.
because you know what happened? He went and got him a white lawyer that seen himself in him and was like, "I know you're passionate about your son right now. God damn it, I'm passionate about your damn son. But you got to be quiet because you know the jurors might see this and it might sway their opinion and blah blah blah." So he was like, "All right, I'm gonna get him." He probably had this video pre-recorded. He probably
He
pre-recorded
might
this.
have.
Yeah,
He might have.
he probably had this video pre-recorded. But yeah, he definitely understood the assignment, and like this is why Carmelo Anthony and his team needed black representation. But I will say something that you probably won't hear nowhere else. They did right with their money because they raised that money, and they did right as far as preparing to lose. You know what I mean? Going for the long haul, in my opinion, right? Because they didn't buy a new house like the news would project, and it's that even that itself, it's like they never look at what anybody else. Nobody looked at what the woman who lied and said that black people was threatening it. Like the story was new, so they didn't even. Not enough black people even knew to even send you death threats, and that's not even our thing. Sending death threats in large quantities, like that's how you know she's capping, right? It's like the Jesse Smollett story. Like you know she's capping, but she did that because she wanted to. She didn't want to work at that dead end job that she had. She had scamming history, a history of spinach. Like
Who you talking
she,
about? I got lost just a second. Who are you
the
talking about?
white lady that called the little boy the N word and became a
Oh,
millionaire.
yeah.
So, but nobody ever did a where they are now story on her. Nobody cared about what she did with the finance. It's only black people. Like it's nothing. We're always constantly under a microscope, constantly defending every action and decision that we make. And I ain't for that. I ain't with that.
But she also wasn't on trial though. Like I don't know if you can truly make that an equivalence, right?
No, no,
Because
no. No, she was on the trial of court of public opinion, and she was on the trial of being the face at the time of white supremacy. So that's why she had an influx of money. That's the point that I'm making. She had an influx of money because white people want to be free to say the N word like they did during Jim Crow without any repercussions. So she was on trial for that, in my opinion.
but the same thing happened with that Hispanic lady cop who was down there. I love locking up you N words and all that stuff that she was saying before she got fired from her job when the video was circulating or going viral. And I'm watching it because I follow a few Hispanic pages, right? So I'm
Mm.
watching them actually like, man, I don't think she said nothing wrong. I don't think she said nothing wrong. And see, it made me mad because like I've told y'all before, I grew up in a black and Hispanic area, so like that black and brown unity thing was a thing. So when I start going around people and it's them against us, it was kind of weird to me. I don't know. It was strange. So then to see a bunch of Hispanic people with the level of racism that was being displayed, I said, and then y'all mad that we're not coming out and protesting with you against ICE. Like, what did you expect here? You know what I
Yo,
mean? Like you
so
can't join in as our oppressor against us, and then when they start turning their gaze on you, now you want us to come save you. Where they do that at?
so somebody just said she was prosecuted. I think she recently was. I think she really. I think she was. I think I did see that in the headline, but I didn't click
Oh,
on
I
the
missed
story.
that. I
What was
missed
her
that.
name? Does anybody remember?
It was a 5-year-old autistic boy that she called an N-word and then accused him of stealing, if I remember it correctly.
And did it
And then
again.
when,
Double down on it. Did it again.
yeah, when the mother got her on film, or it was a man. I think it was a man that recorded it. Some random man saw it.
Wasn't even a black kid too, by the way, which is more insane. She's like Indian. This is the craziest part about it. That's how you know they see anybody that's non-white
I
as
thought the boy
immigrants.
was black, but the
No,
man who recorded it was Indian.
he was racially black, but he was foreign.
Oh, okay. He was like African.
The mother, because she was foreign and because of the dynamics that we're in right now, she did not want to bring attention to herself. She might have been undocumented. We never know. She just did not want any parts of being uh being used as a tool for, I guess, I don't know how to explain it, but she didn't want her face and stuff out there or her son's face out there because she was foreign.
Mm.
So she
And,
wasn't black American. She was
and like I
foreign
said,
black.
he was an autistic 5-year-old. There's no place on the planet where you're going to justify giving racial slurs to a child as a full grown, fully functioning brain adult and act like it was no big deal. She thought he was stealing. It was proven that he wasn't stealing. And y'all will still run with that narrative. Take that somewhere else. Goodbye, sir. Good day. I can let you rock for a little while. You're doing too much when you get on them kids. Bye.
Is it Shyla Hendrick? I think that's it.
Yes, that was her.
Let me find it. I think she just had a trial. That's what I want to see. Hold on.
Well, if she had a trial, then that money's going to lawyers anyway. She's gonna be like Zimmerman. It's gonna get ate up.
Good. Good. Look at God. Sister, did you have an opinion about the video? You've been quiet this time. Me and Candy been cooking on it.
I wrote in the comments. It
Oh.
irritated me and it pissed me off. It pissed me off. Like listening to people talk like that, like
Oh, she got
It's
found guilty.
disrespectful.
And she did. Oh, hold on. Look at
Hold on, that's breaking news. I didn't
Sophia,
follow up with it. So you teaching me something now.
Sophia home now. Hold on. Let me see. Yeah, they got her for hate speech.
I think that's why she asked for the money though, because
No,
she
she
was
was
saying
asking for the money right away.
she
She was
lost
asking
her
for it.
job. She had lost her job immediately, I think.
Nah, she was trying to scam people. She has a history of scamming. She was making up these fake threats and saying that she lost her job and all this stuff because she wanted to do exactly what happened, which is get rich off of that. But I think I found it. Hold on. Breaking down claims made by defense attorney. Oh no. I don't want to see the I want to see the results. They asked the judge to dismiss it 3 months ago, but I think she actually got guilty. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Give me a second. Let me put it on the big screen. Now look at God. You know, that news made my day.
And these same people, they kill me because they will talk about us being snowflakes and not being able to take freedom of speech. And you say CK's name and talk about how he was taken up out of here, and everybody's in an uproar. Now they want to get you deleted and get you removed. So, like, who's really the snowflake?
The only freedom of speech that they care about protecting is freedom of speech that is in line with white supremacy. They showed that on several occasions. That's why they were trying to protect CK when he passed away. But anybody who spoke out against CK, they was trying to cancel. So let's see what happened, because this is my first time watching. Let's see this.
Guilty verdict and one not guilty verdict. That's the decision from jurors last night in the case against Shiloh Hendricks. Our Kebeti Matumba has been following this case from jury selection all the way to the verdict. She has more from outside the courthouse.
After nearly 10 hours of deliberation, the jury finally handed down a verdict, with Hendricks being found guilty for her conduct related to the bystander who filmed that now viral video, not for her conduct.
I just want to pause and say thank you, God. Thank you. God is good all the time.
Wait a minute. Let her finish that statement. Hold on. I hear something. I heard a butt.
Oh, you heard the butt?
I heard a butt.
Oh, no.
Related to the child. Following the verdict, Wale Elegbede, the president of the Rochester branch of the NAACP, briefly spoke to the media, saying while the verdict wasn't exactly what he had hoped for, he's happy that Hendricks will face some consequences.
Okay, I'm going to rewind it. It sounded like they said she didn't get nothing for the child, but she got it for the adult. So let me see.
For her conduct related to the bystander who filmed that now viral video, not for her conduct related to the child. Following the verdict.
What?
You see why I slowed you down?
What? How does that happen? Is there I'm just curious. Hopefully they discuss it later on in the video. I'm just curious why.
The jury finally handed down a verdict, with Hendricks being found guilty for her conduct related to the bystander who filmed that now viral video, not for her conduct related to the child. Following the verdict, Wale Elegbede, the president of the Rochester branch of the NAACP, briefly spoke to the media, saying while the verdict wasn't exactly what he had hoped for, he's happy that Hendricks will face some consequences.
Just so frustrated, in regards to that. But she is going to have something on her record for the crime that she's committed.
The defense attorney, Brian Corrales, then addressed the media, calling the court proceedings unfair, claiming that the boy's father was lying on the stand and was still benefiting from the GoFundMe that was set up to support the family following the incident.
Shire Jamali had a GoFundMe page, $340,000. He testified that it was done.
Your client had a GoFundMe.
And she got a lot more than $300,000.
Yeah, I think she got $1 million.
It was 900 and something. When I last saw it, it was close to $1 million. 900 some thousand.
That's crazy. The outrages. They raised money.
Last year, done. That's not true.
But Olegbede pushed back on those claims, saying the original GoFundMe was created by the NAACP and not the Jamali family. He explained that a second GoFundMe was created by people pretending to be the Jamali family, and that the NAACP worked with GoFundMe to pause and reclaim the account in order to get the money to the Jamalis.
Mr. Jamali had no idea in terms of when the second GoFundMe was basically that was a transfer, and that's why his name was there. So, and these are things that you can verify with GoFundMe, and we have all the receipts.
ABC6 asked Corrales about Hendrix's online fundraising page. What about Miss Hendrix Give Send Go, where she got, from what I understand,
Don't care. Not part of the trial. That's not part of the trial. She's charged with a crime.
The defense says they plan to.
Not part of the trial. Well, why is their GoFundMe part of the trial? What?
Is he trying to say that that was restitution since they had to go
remember
fund
that? What was it? It's a difference when they do it. What was that? What was that?
It's cool when they do it.
Yeah, that's what that
It's
is.
cool when they do
Same
it.
thing with self-defense.
I'm trying
It's
to.
all right for them to claim self-defense, but self-defense is not for Black Americans. We're
I'm
not
trying to
allowed
understand how he could
and even
logic.
I would even argue self-defense in a lot of the gang violence cases. If somebody chasing after you with the gun and you shoot them back, that's self-defense.
I'm trying to understand the logic in what he's saying, that it matters on their end but not on her end, because she's on trial for a crime, right?
We're
That's
just
what
not
they're
allowed
saying.
to have self-defense.
No, so I'm trying to pull back, like, just my knee-jerk reaction to it and understand where he's coming from a
Can y'all hear
legal.
me? Is it silent or am I just not hearing anything?
You
I hear
probably
you
have to hit
fine.
refresh. She probably can't hear
Okay.
you, Kenny. You got to hit
Oh.
refresh. She can. StreamYard be tripping. It'll silence one person to the other and all this other stuff. I don't know what they're doing. But yeah, so with
Ask her,
that,
did she hear you?
normally
Did
they
she
can
hear
hear
you?
one person.
I don't know then.
I put it in the chat.
So because we had a similar thing that we were discussing a while. When I say we, it was a panel of people, and it was a case that came up in one of these divorce courts or family court or people's court. I think it was people's court, actually. And one lady's daughter terrorized another girl. So it was a Black girl and her friends ran up on a white girl's porch, and the white girl was sitting outside playing. She went into her house and, like, tried to get away. Apparently they had some dealings at school. The Black girl came up on the porch and was kicking the door. And so the mother took the other mother to people's court, basically. I think it was people's court, to put a claim against the door, to say that basically your child damaged my door and now I need it resolved. Well, it came up in that case that the mother who was putting the claim against the door, the defendant said, wait a minute, she had to go fund me and they already replaced the door. So the judge said, well, because the door had already been replaced, there's no need for you to sue this lady. And I didn't know that. I didn't know if you had a GoFundMe of some sort, if you're saying that you need restitution, if you've been paid in another way, the court will see that as already justified and done. Because in my mind, I felt like the mother, like, I don't care that I had a GoFundMe and they gave me money for this. Your kid did the damage. I want your kid to pay still for my door. I don't care if I did replace the door.
So I agree with you. I don't know how. Like, I don't know why that has anything to do. Uh, have to do with anything with restitution. Only because of this. You know, when they read you your rights, they say if you cannot afford a lawyer, one will be appointed to you. If you can't
Hmm.
afford legal defense, and people are making sure you have the best lawyers, how is that part of the restitution? Because that is a right that's supposed to be given to you by the Constitution of you having a lawyer provided. And court appointed lawyers, I mean, let's be honest, are not always the best, right? They're people just starting their career. So
You
if
got a
people are
right to an attorney. You ain't got a right to a good attorney. That's not what they
but
promised
what I'm
you.
saying is, if we decide, okay, this person is innocent, or we want them, the justice system is not good against black people, we want them to have the best legal representation, and we're going to crowdfund to get it. That's our business. Now, I don't understand. Maybe if you ask for it, I don't know. I don't know. I don't understand it. I don't like it
I want them to
because
break
this
that
is
part
something
down
that
and explain it. I
because this
really
is
want.
GoFundMe
Sorry.
has not been around a long time. So how have they already determined? Like, and this is how you know that they always change the rules. Like, this is why we can never catch up too. Like, because they control the rules on the monopoly board. The justice system has been around like quadruple amount of years that GoFundMe has been around. They took the GoFundMe and said, well, if you get all this money raised for you, that's part of your restitution. Did they apply that with George Zimmerman? Did they apply that? Did they apply that in white cases? Because it seemed to me like the white lawyer was basically saying, "Now that's for them." Like he was saying the same thing that I'm trying to wrap my head around now. Oh, that's for them. Oh, that was different. Remember Red on Friday? Oh, that was different.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Like I said, it's cool when they do it. It's a problem when we do it. And that's with a lot of things. Same with this situation when it comes to the funding. Because prior to GoFundMe, we were doing GoFundMe anyway. It was just at the church house. They was passing around the bucket, and everybody in the community was putting in their $2 and $3 and $5 so that such and such could have a lawyer. So when they got on that so when they went and sit at that lunch counter, that all white only restaurant, they would be able to bail them out. We've been doing this. It just wasn't on the scale as where it could be documented and seen how the funds came.
And they've always targeted that. The reason why the civil rights movement almost didn't make it is because they were targeting them at their jobs. They knew that they had to feed their families, and they were doing that type of crowdfunding stuff. So they targeted that like strategically. And I think that this might be a strategic move for them to target to where we can't get together and have the best legal defense, even though the justice system is already programmed for us to be guilty type stuff. So that's why I say we can never catch up because they always changing the rules. Because this is something that I'm over there scratching my head like I'm pretty sure y'all are too. Like, what? Wait, what? Let me hear it again. Let me hear it again. Make sure I'm not tripping.
ABC6 asked Corrales about Hendrix's online fundraising page. What about Miss Hendrix Give Send Go, where she got, from what I understand,
Don't care. Not part of the trial. That's not part of the trial. She's charged with a crime.
The defense says they plan to file an appeal. You can watch the.
Is it because she wasn't charged? You can't raise money if they're not. I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't know. I don't know. I'm confused. I got even more confused after watching it the second time. Target who? The kid killed somebody. That somebody he killed had a history of violence, punching women, uh, uh, targeting other people who had went under their tents and stuff on their territory in school, and said, I quote, "We should have killed that mf'er." Uh, that's the guy that you're talking about. You know, that's the guy that you're talking about. That's somebody that the kid, the kid killed somebody. That's the guy that you're defending. So I mean, some would say that he effed around and found out. I don't know who those some are. Like Metcalf's dad did. I'm going to say something racist. I'm going to say something controversial. Since we're here, uh, he messed around and found out.
Water
Oh
buffalo.
my God, that just made me laugh. Oh my goodness.
Charleston White, you look like a fucking crackhead. Even though you got money, you're the only smart person around.
I told you.
That he almost said N-word. You the only smart N-word around. Is that what he said? You
Yep,
caught
that's
it?
what he said.
Mm.
Only smart person around. You got money.
And you notice you got money, but you're still an N-word. That's what I heard. That's what I heard. And he accidentally slipped up and said it. Like I said, that the more he started talking, the more. And you see where they get it from. The racist slurs that they're writing on the wall. What do they think that came from? Osmosis. And then they like I said, they always constantly trying to play in our face. Oh, these new kids, they beyond racism. They not racist. So the parents is teaching it to them, and they're just ignoring everything the parents has said. Get out of here.
You're the only smart person around. Hoo-hoo. Hoo-hoo. You're a grifting piece of shit. Your character says it all. I don't have to say a damn word. Your actions speak for themselves. You and your little faggot bow tie? What the hell is that, dude? Maybe you and Chris King are butt buddies. Like y'all swap ties and shit. I don't know. Your little army of people? Maybe it was your Black Panther friends. Ooh, y'all are so fucking tough. You talk a big fucking game, but really at the end of the day, you ain't shit. I'll scrape you off the heel of my boot.
What the Black Panthers have to do? This dude don't, and MLK. Let me tell you another thing. Malcolm X. I don't like him. Like, bro, what are we talking about? Like, this is great. Like, this dude just looked, like I said, he understood the assignment. That's why the N-word slipped in. He knows what he's doing. He's the mascot. White people have a mascot that will pop up in the form of justice. And they will pick and pour all of their resources into said individual. And he just happened to be said individual at the moment. Before it was the white lady, Hendrix, and now it's this guy. And then it'll be somebody else, whenever another popular topic will pop up that it will be race-based, and they'll tell us it's not about race. White people understand the assignment, and so do he. That's why he's out there talking like this. He's out there sprouting some pretty good stuff. Like, if you listen to him talk and you go secretly record the Hoods meeting, you wouldn't even be able to tell the difference if you close your eyes. It's the exact same stuff. He knows what he's doing, man. Like I said, they spend so much time trying to convince us it's not about race. Convince this guy. Convince this guy it's not about race. Because not only is he letting the N-word slip, but his kids is writing it in graffiti on the walls and bullying black people and punching on black women and over black girls and stuff like that. So convince them. Stop trying to convince us. I'm gonna play the rest of this, and I had a comment. I want to go back to a comment you said earlier, Kenny. Hold on.
And normally, I don't normally attack people like this, but I have been cooped up and caged up in this anger, and this is something I'm trying to work on. I need to develop it and funnel it into.
Sounds like somebody can't control their anger. I wonder if it's genetic. I wonder if it's a community thing. It's so funny to me, like the justification. He knows that the N-word slipped, and now he's like, well, you guys got to understand all this pent up aggression and anger. It's like white people always know how to find the right words, and the right words always look like N-words to us. They claim to not be racist, but they sound exactly like the people before them during Jim Crow that benefited off the backs of blacks. I'm just saying, they always find the white words, not the right words, the white words.
A more constructive way, but tonight is the one time I'm going to allow myself. It's okay. Tonight,
you see what he did there? I normally don't use the N-word, but tonight I'm going to give myself permission to say it because I'm the
I
real
mean,
victim.
if the history of your son and how he's reacted tells us that you're not telling the truth here. You're just not telling the truth. It's rare. I would say it's rare. If you grew up in a household where you don't use racial words and racial slang, it's rare that you just all of a sudden, like, I don't walk around calling people racist names because I didn't grow up like that. That wasn't something that was a part of our household. So people who are constantly throwing that out, that's a learned behavior.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. I normally don't do this, under any other circumstances. But since you guys put me here, making it all about race, I've been pent up. And being pent up, he found all the racist, the right racist words to say, like just coincidentally, you know. But yeah, so let me finish this. Get this ugly ass dude off my screen.
I don't allow myself to say what I really want to say, because most of the time I don't say.
Yo, so he's holding back. This is a more docile version of who he actually. This is crazy. It gets worse.
What I want to say, because it's not correct. Just because you think something doesn't mean you believe it. Doesn't make it right. Doesn't make it wrong.
You see the duality and battling that he's doing with himself. He don't even know what he's saying at this point.
Just because you think doesn't mean just because you think something doesn't mean you believe it, huh?
Exactly. Hold on. Let's listen to that again.
Doesn't mean you believe it. Doesn't make it right. Doesn't make it wrong.
Doesn't make it right, but at the same time, doesn't make it wrong. What are you talking about, bro? You're racist. You're racist. It's that simple. You don't think it's anything wrong with being racist. That's why you raised a racist kid who approached a black kid and struck him in the mouth and is no longer here to tell his side of the story. It's simple as that. Accountability. But one thing I wanted to say, Ken, you said that your next episode was going to be on what? When Marky Dan was talking, it was like, was it
It's
about?
going to be on the transition from of the transition of basically black media, and I already have it set up for tomorrow. I think I titled it "Why." Don't give me the line. Now let me go look.
You said I done forgot already. Just that quick.
It's the low vibrational takeover. Is the community doomed?
Okay, so this is what I would say. I'm gonna pull up on that episode and do more research to articulate this point. But the point that I will always make is black people have to stop being shamed for everything. And what I mean by that is you look at the people who own the hub, you look at the people who benefit mostly on OF, you look at all
Come
of this
on, brother.
degenerate.
Save that for tomorrow. Save it for tomorrow. Don't do the arguments
What time?
today.
Hold on. What time you gonna allow?
4 p.m. Central.
Sister, I'm gonna be at work at 6 Central, so I might be able to pull up for maybe like a couple minutes, but I'll leave y'all with this. Stop being shamed into stuff that every human participates in, that is part of the human experience. Because there was one time, you know, where black people, what Bernie Mac say, was bucket naked in the nude, showing their public head. Nah, but they was in Africa and they tits were out, and the same people who brought them over, kidnapped them, told them that was a bad thing. Meanwhile, you know, trying to essay their daughters at 13 and 12 years old, made them feel ashamed about their women, about their natural body. And that has always been a thing. They make us feel ashamed about our hair. Like the sister was saying earlier, our vernacular, everything is always shame attached for being black. And we always have to constantly defend it. Well, I'm at the point where I ain't defending nothing. I'm gonna embrace it. I am who I am, and I'm gonna pass away this way. If you don't like it, you don't have to be around me. All this freedom and stuff that y'all be talking about, feel free to get the hell away from me.
I hear you. But yeah, I want you to pull up tomorrow. Come make your arguments. It's a discussion. To me, there is no right or wrong. We're talking just like we did in the stream. We talked it out. You know.
Nah, it's a wrong. It's a wrong.
That's your opinion. You're welcome to it.
No, it's a wrong. It's definitely a wrong. We got to start. Listen, black people, we got to start thinking like me. You know, and I know that I'm a humble guy. You know, I'm very humble.
I thought we just have a discussion earlier when you told Marky Dan that you were no longer going to argue with black people and you were going to say you're right even when you think they're wrong. I thought I heard that.
Yeah, but you're right. But you just got to start agreeing with me more. So how about that? No, I just honestly think in this situation, it's like we gotta like. So I'll pull up to your show because I'm gonna bring up the history.
Thank you. Don't.
I'm gonna try. So Ken, what if I don't? What if I don't make it? What if I don't make it to the show?
Listen. Maybe I'll go live a little earlier so you can be included. How's that?
Yeah. If you do that, I definitely will be able to pull
All right, we're gonna work on that. For my normal viewers, y'all know that I try and do every Saturday if I can. If not, I'll try and put it on a Sunday. But this Saturday. That's what we'll be discussing, and I'll try and make it a little earlier so you can come through.
So
I'm gonna give you the floor though. You'll be able to speak your piece, and I hope Miss Travel is my business. I hope you pull through too. I was trying to tell you that earlier. And the other guy, what was his name? The one who BOV
BBO.
BVO BVO. He was making some good points, and that's why I was like,
So
dang, how did
what
you?
I'll do is after this show. So let me put this in the chat to the people that are first time pulling up to the stream and don't know. So this is my channel. I'll just put it in the chat. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share this live on my community wall and tag the people that pulled up in the show so that you can subscribe to their channel.
Okay.
So like a plan, everybody, so we can find everybody's channel, everybody can subscribe, and we can continue the conversation. Part 2, because Travel is my business pulled up and shit. The panel was like, damn, you know what I mean? And even in the comments section, they was like, you got a channel? You know what I mean? So yeah, we
Yeah.
gonna
Some
go ahead.
people on my side were asking for her channel as well, and I went and
I
looked.
don't have a channel. I'm just a
Yeah.
visitor.
Well, it sound like you got one now.
Yeah.
I am not equipped to handle being committed to. I'm just a visitor. I
Don't
will
you do that.
show up and support, but I'm not ready to establish anything of my own.
Nah, don't you do that. We need you in this good fight. You know, we got people out there having N-word slips talking about watermelon felons. We need everybody.
If you wouldn't mind, Scholar, since I do already have the stream set up for tomorrow, could you share that to your page too, so that your people can see it? Okay. Yeah, I think this would
All
be a
right,
good.
we got any final words? I'm probably gonna try to get some rest before I head out to work. We didn't did enough freedom fighting today.
I mean, I'm glad that you brought this up. I'm glad we had the opportunity to, talk about it. I appreciate you, doing the simulcast with me. It was a good stream. Appreciate it. And good to meet some of your people. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and they are my people except for BBO. No, I'm just
Well,
playing. No, I was just joking. BBO. It's earlier. I don't know if you caught this, but my homie Marky Dan was trying to share the link, and I'm listen. I don't care. I don't care how it sounds. I don't want to let non-black people up on the panel because, like, we end up being defensive. We end up trying to be fair-minded. We end up saying not all white people. We don't. It's not free for us to speak, and I want to be a free space for black people to have an opinion. So,
Oh, I'm not opposed to that. When we
Safe
have
space.
when we have discussions that are black community based, I tend to not bring in people who are not identified as part of the black community, because even though we're having it in a public forum, this is a discussion for us by us. You really don't have a point here other than to listen.
Yeah, like the audacity to want to pull up and add to a conversation about what black people need to do is that right there is itself like, yeah, you out of line there. But yeah, I agree. But yeah, that's why if we do, we gonna do some of those things in the future. You know what I mean? Because I'm about community. So you said that earlier. I'm about building. I'm about community. I'm about conversations and it being like you said, being a safe place for black people to have a voice. You know what I mean? If one of us go down, shit, 3 or 4 of us gonna continue to pass the torch or whatever the case may be. So yeah, I'm gonna share you out. I don't know if you got a channel or whatever you're trying to do, but I'm gonna share you out for people to go find you. I'm gonna make it easier for us to find each other, But final thoughts, closing words, because I'm gonna get up out of here. Probably gonna go eat some food.
I gave you mine. I think it's Travel's turn.
Oh, good to see my people. Good to talk to my people. Glad to be here. I'll hop on anybody's page, but I don't normally do anything on my page. And y'all have a blessed day.
Before we get up out of here, I just want y'all to look at them white tears on the screen. White tears really move me and do something to me. So, you know what I mean? I cried for 3 days at the Kyle Rittenhouse. Went up there, I had that heartfelt message to America. So, message of the day. When they told us we didn't have nothing nice to say about black people, excuse me, about when you were little, they said you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. If you ain't got nothing black to say as a black person, please be quiet. Because, they don't do that to their own. And we need to stop doing it to our own, And that's the message for the day. I'm gonna let Ray J serenade y'all souls and take y'all home. You know what I mean? I might need to go put Darnell. What's his name? What's his name? Is it Darnell Jones?
Yes.
I might need to put him as my ending instead of Ray J, because that dude sounded like he had a frog in his throat the other day. Let Joe go in there and beat him.
Don't do that.
That's what happened.
Don't do that.
Listen, we knew Joe was gonna win. We knew Joe was gonna win. I did, at least. Joe got more hits. But the fact that his voice was like crackling and stuff, I'm like, man.
He had a cold on that day. Don't do that. What you say? If we not gonna talk, but if it ain't positive, just keep it to yourself. I need you to take your own advice.
You know what's funny about that? You are absolutely right. So I'm gonna just start doing Fox News strategy to say, now we're gonna have a word from Darnell Jones.
I can be a second. Just an open up. Say that I can have it. Yeah. Bring me. Oh. Bring me. Oh. Bring me. God damn.
That's how he sounded last night in the verses. But anyway, man, I'll catch you on the next one. To the people that you know, the people that obviously on the stream, all you have to do is hit the subscribe button from there if you're on my stream. If not, like I said, I'm gonna share everybody out, make it easier to find everybody else. So on that note, we'll go ahead and let Ray J serenade y'all so and take y'all home. But anyway, it's the Boxing Scholar and about.
Wish to have a fancy car. Wish to have $1 million bucks. Well, I wish I don't be in love. So feel me, pretty baby. I make one wish and I wish it all on you. Making love to the break of dawn. Me and you to the baby's born. Till my baby's born.